Here's the setup. Our heroine doesn't just get reincarnated, she gets dropped straight into possession of a doomed side character body inside a novel, and the first thing she asks is how her old life even reached lights out. Cherry blossoms swirl as she stares at an unfamiliar face in the glass, already tasting how rotten her luck just turned. She pieces the nightmare together fast. No matter how she runs the numbers, she must have possessed this body in her sleep, and the only scrap she remembers is a half-finished hate novel that offers zero survival tips. Hard mode activated before she even learns her new name. One glance at the mirror confirms the genre-savvy dread. Long white hair, glowing red eyes, the exact look every romance fantasy stamps on its disposable villainess. She basically mutters that she pulled the trash card, and the original owner's fate is already circling like a vulture. Zero inherited memories means she is freestyling through a somber gathering that feels a lot like a farewell. Everyone eyes her like she is wearing a curse, and she still does not even know what to call herself. The plot she thought she knew is already slipping. 2 days later, the name finally drops. Johannine Johansson. Instant recognition hits. She is locked into the classic trashy side character slot, the kind the story usually finishes off without a second thought. Still, she tries to spin it as usable information. The household reaction is pure confirmation. A young maid drops to the floor begging, another has to be dragged away, and even the one brave enough to speak can barely meet those red eyes. Welcome home, ill omen. In romance fantasy logic, red eyes equal walking bad luck. These characters get isolation, slammed doors, and the full trash treatment. Johannine's father proves the rule the second he shuts her out, still blaming her for the day her mother passed on. She fishes for any handsome escape route, a Duke of the North, a holy knight, even a crowned prince. The maid shuts every fantasy down cold. No fiancé, no dashing savior, just a world that refuses to follow the usual romance script. Left alone, Fee decides the original owner must have hidden a diary. One tiny problem, she can speak the language perfectly but cannot read a single letter. Rotten luck stays consistent. Then the real clue surfaces. There is a room the original Johannine never allowed anyone to enter. Curiosity overrides caution, and she heads straight for that stiff, silent door at the end of the hall. The door fights her every inch. Something cold and wrong waits on the other side, and the second it finally gives, the ghost story side of this novel stops hiding. A presence slams into her. Johannine's scream rips through the hallway as the chapter's true nature finally bears its teeth. This cozy possession story was never cozy at all. The scene rips backward to the origin of the curse. Susanna, only daughter of Count Johansson, has already been taken from the world, and her farewell unfolds beneath a storm of cherry blossoms that feel far too beautiful for what is coming. The modest funeral twists without warning. An eerie pressure floods the hall. Guests start dropping one after another, and red Kool-Aid blooms across the floor, while the living scramble for exits that no longer work. Then the impossible happens. The body that should stay still begins to move, eyes snapping open with a gaze that should not exist. Something ancient finishes claiming its new vessel, and the ghost story is fully awake. Back in the present, Johannine is still trapped inside that same cursed role, and the plot she thought she could outsmart is already rewriting itself around her. Next chapter, she has to decide whether to run, charm, or fight the haunting before it finishes her for good. Chapter 2 opens on our heroine alone in a cavernous, silent mansion that already feels like it is watching her back. She takes in the empty halls, the cold candlelight, and the thick layer of neglect, and her genre-savvy brain immediately starts screaming that this is not a cozy starter home. She follows the only promising lead she has and slips into a towering library. Dusty shelves climb to the ceiling, every volume looking like it has not been touched in years, and she mutters that if this place doubles as a study, then the diary she needs has to be somewhere in here. One book after another comes up blank or useless. Everything is coated in dust, the pages feel wrong under her fingers, and she starts wondering whether she is actually the only living person left in this entire wing. Then her hand closes on a volume that feels different. The spine is unmarked, the cover looks too new, and the moment she cracks it open, the writing inside is nothing like ordinary script. Geometric patterns, strange symbols, and dense blocks of text stare back at her. She flips further, and the truth hits like a cold splash. Circles packed with geometric patterns, rows of numbers that look like coordinates, and a full summoning diagram drawn right onto the page. This is not a diary, this is a ritual manual. Our heroine freezes, eyes wide, as the last piece clicks. She has not just been dropped into a trash side character role, she has been dropped into a full-blown ghost story, and the book in her hands is proof that something in this mansion is very much awake and waiting for a contract. She starts running the original plot in her head at lightning speed, survive this haunted world, figure out who is supposed to finish her off, and somehow rewrite the ending before the ghost story catches up. The only tool the novel ever offered its doomed extras was a contract, and she is going to need one fast. Her eyes drop to the red Kool-Aid still staining the floor from earlier. If the ritual needs a medium, that liquid is the only candidate in sight, and she is already calculating how to draw the circle before anything else finds her first. Night falls over the Johnston estate and the story pulls us into the past. Count Johnston sits alone beneath the portrait of the woman he lost, the weight of the empty mansion pressing down on him while the household quietly unravels. The Count's young daughter was once the bright center of the house, but something inside the walls had other plans. What began as a perfect noble family starts twisting the moment an unseen presence decides it wants a new vessel. A maid is the first to notice the change. Flowers wilt, shadows stretch too far, and then the outbreak hits. Whatever was sealed inside the estate erupts in a storm of dark energy, and the girl who should have become Lady Evangeline is no longer entirely herself. The presence does not simply linger. It wears the young lady's body like a borrowed dress, red-stained hands and all, and every servant who looks too closely feels the same cold contempt staring back at them. The mansion has a new mistress, and she is not interested in kindness. Back in the present, the Count receives the latest report. The maid who was supposed to keep watch can barely speak. She admits she got too close, found a book dripping with red Kool-Aid, and heard something muttering on the floor of the study. The maid's voice shakes as she describes the moment the figure on the floor looked up. Eye contact, a contract sealed in an instant. Whatever entity was waiting inside those pages now has a foothold, and the Count realizes the red Kool-Aid summoning ritual has already begun inside his own home. The Count tries to process the impossible. A spirit that once needed a perfect vessel has slipped into his daughter's body, and the only living witnesses are too terrified to speak the full truth. Outside, the night feels heavier than ever. And then the perspective shifts. Someone has been staring the entire time. Glowing blue eyes open in the dark, twisted branches close in, and our heroine finds herself standing at the center of a living nightmare that the original novel never prepared her for. The ghost story is no longer content to stay on the page. Chapter 3 opens on pure chaos of the fluffy variety. Our heroine, still stuck in the worst role the novel has to offer, suddenly finds a wide-eyed leopard cat staring her down like it owns the place. She snatches it out of the air without hesitation. In a mansion full of bad omens, this soft little creature feels like the first actual gift the story has thrown her way, and she is not letting go. The petting session begins immediately. She melts into the fluff, whispering that she can indulge herself just this once because when you pull the trash card, you take every win you can get. Full cuddle mode engages. She buries her face in that spotted fur while the cat meows like it is personally offended by the attention, and our heroine could not care less. She spins around, declaring her undying love for cats at top volume. For a few glorious panels, the ghost story tension is completely forgotten in favor of pure serotonin. Then the maid arrives and dignity mode slams on. Our heroine straightens up fast, but she cannot resist fishing for information about whether cats are common around the county. The answer lands like a curse. The maid calmly explains that every cat was wiped out long ago after a plague outbreak. No survivors. Just like that, the cute moment turns ice cold. An entire county of cats finished off by plague. Classic medieval fantasy problem, and our heroine is already side-eyeing her own luck when the exact same cat strolls right back into the room. Panic. She freezes, then scrambles to keep the little guy quiet while the maid is still within earshot. One loud meow and this secret pet situation is finished before it starts. She is shushing it, heart-hammering, tasting the air for danger. The maid lingers just long enough to make every second feel like a trap about to spring. No, baby, do not cry. If you make a sound, you will get caught. Luckily, the maid leaves without searching the room, and our heroine finally collapses in relief. Heart still racing, she looks at her new companion and realizes what she has just become, the secret owner of a forbidden pet in a house that purged every last one of them. Hiding it forever is not an option. She needs official cover because even this cursed household would think twice before touching a pet that belongs to the Count's daughter. She goes through the proper channels. The butler arrives with the predictable news that the Count is far too busy to see her. Classic neglect from a father who never wanted this daughter around. Still, she pushes. She just wants one simple thing: permission to keep the cat. The butler blinks in surprise, then instead of refusing, he offers something better. They confirm the water is clean, holy water even, and decide the cat can stay. To keep other servants from harming it, the maid suggests embroidering a name right onto a collar. Instant alliance unlocked. There is just one tiny problem. Our heroine cannot read or write a single letter. The maid promises an alphabet book, but by the next morning, something impossible has already happened. She can suddenly read. She celebrates the residual skill boost and immediately tries to embroider the cat's name. The result is an absolute disaster. Even the cat looks personally offended by her stitching. Yet the cat stays. It curls into her arms like it chose her on purpose, and for a moment she lets herself believe this soft little companion is rewriting her doomed role one meow at a time. But night falls and the mansion remembers what it really is. A darker memory surfaces, someone offering a desperate wish under glowing blue eyes, whispering that if you want it, you can have it. And the way those eyes shine, our heroine is about to learn the price. Chapter 4 opens on swirling cherry blossoms and a bride whose white gown is already stained with something that looks a lot like red Kool-Aid. The cozy novel our heroine thought she landed in keeps flashing its true colors. This is a ghost story, and the mansion remembers every rotten thing that happened here. A lonely maid stares out the window while the empty estate looms in the dark. The place has been left to one butler for years, the kind of quiet that feels less peaceful and more like something is waiting. Enter Count Johansson with a recommendation letter and a plan. He only wants a handful of people disturbing the silence, so he brings in one new maid and refuses ordinary applicants. That maid is Nina, and she is about to walk straight into the plot. The butler greets her with the stiff formality of a man who has been alone too long. Nina, still reeling from her trash card reincarnation, decides the only way forward is to keep her head down and serve. She has knowledge of the original story, and right now survival means playing the perfect maid. Then she hears it, a soft meow in a house that should have no pets. Nina freezes, genre-savvy instincts screaming that nothing this quiet is ever just a cat. She tells herself it might be nothing, but the mansion is already rewriting the script she memorized. Strange dreams hit her hard that night. A red-haired figure under a moonlit sky, a voice insisting she has to keep working no matter what. Nina wakes with the unshakable feeling that the original story's curse is already tugging at her new life. The butler gives her a simple order: raise the cat and feed it holy water. Nina stares at the glass, fully aware that in a ghost story, nothing labeled holy is ever just a snack. She does it anyway because staying useful is the only shield she has. Flashbacks slam into her of a red-haired girl offering something precious under falling blossoms. Do you want it? The memory asks. Nina's green eyes snap open in the present, and the line between dream and haunting starts to blur. She finds the cat on a high ledge, eyes glowing an unnatural blue. One look and Nina knows the truth. This is no ordinary pet. It is a monster the previous residents left behind, and the original story never mentioned it playing nice. Her first instinct is pure self-preservation. Report it to the butler and maybe earn a reward. But the thought of easy money collides with a darker realization. If she wants to rewrite her doomed role, she might need this creature more than she needs safety. Nina makes the gamble. She keeps the monster, follows its strange suggestions, and even slips a collar around its neck. Almost overnight, the beast closes one glowing eye and pretends to be a normal spotted cat, letting her shop at the market like any other maid. For the first time since transmigrating, Nina feels a spark of control. She buys her favorite foods, serves with perfect diligence, and starts believing she can earn enough to change her fate. Then a red-haired girl comes flying at her with a delighted shout of "Sister!" The hug is tight enough to crack ribs. Pure chaotic affection from a girl who clearly belongs to Nina's new life. In the original story, this bond was supposed to be a footnote. Now it feels like another thread the ghost story can yank whenever it wants. Meanwhile, across the estate, a white-haired woman pores over a forbidden book. She is hunting for a summoning spell, convinced she can call a harmless ghost and finally get the answers she needs. She even practices the chant Evangeline Fire with way too much confidence. The spell fizzles into pure chaos. Instead of a friendly spirit, she gets confusing letters about Count Johansson, marriage proposals, and love stories that make zero sense. The white-haired woman stares at the mess and realizes the translation is completely broken. Worse, the summoning book itself has vanished from her desk. Someone snuck into her room overnight and stole the one thing she needed. Suspicion flares immediately, and the quiet mansion suddenly feels full of watching eyes. In the shadows, a furious man vows to find the thief and make them pay. Night falls over the estate, soft laughter echoes where no one should be laughing, and a dark figure moves with red energy crackling around it. Nina's carefully rewritten role is about to collide with something that was never in the original script. Chapter 5 drops us straight into the fallout. A girl with blazing eyes locks onto the camera and swears they'll pay for everything, right as the whole place erupts in flames behind her. She's not sticking around to mourn the wreckage. Her target is crystal clear, the Countess's spellbook, and she's going after it tonight. Cut to a much quieter, creepier room. A red-haired girl is gagged and thrashing, muffled protests spilling out as a figure in green leans over her. She's clearly not here by choice, and whatever plan she had is falling apart fast. She breaks free just long enough to leave a nasty little surprise behind. All she wanted was to plant a treat that would give her captors a very bad night. Her mother always warned her about a life of crime, but the urge never really left. It doesn't matter. A man steps from the shadows, apologizing for the wait like this is a dinner reservation. He hauls the red-haired girl up and announces it's finally time to offer the sacrifice. Ordinary fools can't summon anything worthwhile. This girl, he claims, is the real deal. His eye for detection never lies. He flips open a grim little manual titled How to Summon a Demon and points to the fine print. A noble lady named Hannah makes the perfect offering. He brags that he was the one who figured out the ritual years ago, and a demon never offers its right hand to just anyone. The real villain of his story is Count Coleman's, the so-called benevolent lord who's been selling demon power for a fortune. Our summoner got beaten to lights out for crossing him. Now he wants revenge and a shortcut to wealth, and he's ready to use Hannah to call up the demon Johanna herself. Blade out, he starts the ritual the hard way, dragging a circle with red Kool-Aid stained fingers while the girl sobs and struggles. A tiny purple observer even coaches him on the timing. One little poke, he mutters, just enough to satisfy a demon's appetite. He raises his voice and calls for chaos to reign on the summoning circle. That's when the door explodes inward. Blinding light floods the room. A voice booms for everyone to bow in awe and worship. The angel of light has arrived. Energy rips through the chamber. Bodies hit the floor. Standing in the middle of the glow is a white-haired woman who looks like she stepped straight out of a stained glass window. Trumpets of the heavens, radiant wings of light, the whole dramatic package. She blinks, mildly startled by her own entrance. Turns out she was never an angel, she just always liked being called one as a kid. Someone in the room gasps her name, Hannah. Another voice shouts, Canna. The mask is already slipping. Canna didn't come to play savior, she came to catch a thief who stole a family treasure. The summoning circle they're standing in, that's hers. She takes one look at the mess and decides the idiot with the knife is not walking away clean. The summoner immediately switches from predator to desperate fanboy. He begs her to grant a wish, make him filthy rich. She stares at him like he's the dumbest man alive, then decides a little creative interpretation won't hurt. She can't just hand out unlimited wishes, so she offers something quieter and far more dangerous. She can make him the new count. The moment the magic lands, though, his life becomes a living hell. He likes the sound of that seat of power a little too much. Canna smiles that beautiful, evil smile the old stories warned about. Right here, right now, she says, let's seal the deal. Dark hands rise, the air cracks, and the purple little observer pops in like it knows exactly how badly this is about to go. The ritual is complete, the wish is twisted, and Canna just rewrote the board. Whatever Count Coleman's and his stolen demon power thought they controlled, they just lost it. Next chapter, the ghost story stops playing nice. Chapter 6 slams open on impact. Donat hits the floor hard across a glowing ritual circle, and Milady, the white-haired ghost tagging along, immediately second-guesses her aim like she just fumbled the easiest cutscene in the book. She frets out loud that she should have gone for the back of the neck like the movies instead of the head. 1 tense second later, she realizes he is not getting up. Lucky hit, for now. Across the room, Hana and Kana freeze at the sight of the circle burned into the floorboards. Whatever Donut was cooking in this house, it was never just a regular villain lair. Hana's hands shake so badly the restraints will not hold. She keeps muttering that nothing about this feels normal, while the knot keeps slipping, like the house itself is fighting her. Milady finally steps in, cool as ever, telling Hana to move aside. A dark coil of power finishes the job for them, and she even compliments the craftsmanship like this is just another Tuesday in a ghost story. Kenna is fraying at the edges. She snaps that she only has 20 seconds and never wants to get snared by someone like Donut again. The original plot is already off script and she can feel it. Golden light suddenly floods the room. Whatever force just answered them, the immediate threat settles. For one fragile breath, and even Milady looks relieved she was not too late. Kana wrestles with her own reputation. She wants to help, but a famous villainess showing soft emotions might look suspicious. Still, someone has to decide what happens to Donut now. Milady offers the practical ghost story solution. Lock him in the underground prison forever. Then Kana notices the fresh wound on the side of his neck and everything tilts. Chaos erupts again. When the dust settles, Milady reports that Donut poked his own neck rather than face judgment. Lights out. She wanted proper justice, but Kana quietly says this is already enough. Warm light wraps Kana and Hana as gratitude spills over. Milady actually smiles, soaking in the rare heartwarming moment, until she notices the air itself is getting hotter. Fire. Real, roaring flames explode through the house with zero warning. Our genre-savvy heroine stares in pure disbelief. This was supposed to be a sparkly romance fantasy, not a sudden inferno arc. The culprit clicks into place, Donut's leftover summoning circle. It must have called a fire spirit using the very spell left behind. Now the whole place is paying the price in pure flame. As the blaze swallows the house, we drop into Kana's past, a frail girl who lost her mother to overwork, staring through one tiny window and clinging to any scrap of life the world would still give her. Miracles flicker across that window, a black cat, a single bottle of water, tiny mercies that feel like hope. But in this story, hope never arrives alone. Something colder is always watching. The past shatters back into the present. Kana and the others have only one path left through the flames, and waiting outside is a sharp-eyed stranger staring up at the inferno. What on earth is that fire? Chapter 7 drops us straight into festival night, and something has already gone very wrong. Flames roar up from the center of the square while the crowd scatters in every direction. Our heroine takes one look at the chaos and knows the script she memorized is about to get messy. Knights flood the scene, barking orders to clear the fire zone. She barely has time to process the spill on her dress before the real problem appears. One particular knight is cutting straight through the crowd, and he is headed right for her. That knight is Gabriel, captain of the Paradise Knights, and the moment he stops in front of her, the air changes. She stares up at him, and her brain short-circuits on pure ice sculpture beauty. Genre-savvy or not, even she has to admit the original novel undersold this face. He introduces himself with perfect formality while she scrambles for the right line. In the original story, this meeting was never supposed to happen to her trash-tier character. Now the celebrity knight is looking at her like she is the entire problem, and she can already feel the villainess role locking into place. Gabriel asks why a young lady would be standing in the middle of this mess. She freezes, fully aware that every answer makes her look guiltier. The whole scene is tilting against her, and she has maybe 3 seconds before the plot decides she is the culprit. So she does the only sensible thing a doomed side character can do. She bolts. Heels clatter across the stones as she puts distance between herself and the most dangerous witness in the square. Sonia and the others catch up fast, refusing to let her vanish into the night alone. Even while the heroine panics about spells and unfinished business on the rooftop, her little group is already choosing loyalty over safety. That kind of backup was never in the original script. Up above the festival, the fire spirit situation reaches its peak. She faces the blaze head-on, red eyes sharp, fully aware the human who caused this mess has already been taken out of the picture. No loose ends, just the aftermath she now has to explain. Back on the ground, an official wants answers, and the truth sounds completely unhinged. A fire spirit that appears and then vanishes? Sonia steps up without hesitation and backs every word. Together they sell the story hard enough that the knight has no choice but to listen. For one fragile moment, it almost works. Then the heroine catches her own reflection in the chaos and realizes the festival she was supposed to merely survive has been completely rewritten around her. Kids, knights, ruined celebrations, all of it now points at the girl who pulled the trash card. She leaves the square wearing the brand new title of Festival Villainess. Exhausted, surrounded by cold stares, she still makes sure the children are safe before walking away. The original story never gave this character a single heroic beat, and she just stole several. Meanwhile, Gabriel cannot stop replaying what he saw. At first, he genuinely thought a marble statue had been erected in the middle of the crowd. Perfect features, zero warmth, a beauty so absolute it felt carved rather than born. Then the statue turned its crimson eyes on him and spoke. Gabriel's mind nearly short-circuited. Whatever stood in front of him had no trace of ordinary human vitality, yet it used a human tongue like it owned the language. He forces the conversation to continue even while every instinct screams that he is standing before something that should not exist. She looks down on the entire crowd as if they are ants. The only flicker of interest she shows is towards Sonia, and even that feels wrong. Sonia's blank expression only deepens the unease, like a devotee staring at something far beyond mortal understanding. Gabriel's people call him back, warning that the path cannot simply be cut off. Whatever this woman is, negotiation may already be off the table. Then the real nightmare steps into view. Wings unfurl that look almost holy until the light hits them wrong. Ash and bone, a halo that feels more like a warning than a blessing, and a presence that could release at any second like a living candle flame. Gabriel has no idea what he is truly facing, and neither does our heroine yet. Chapter 8 opens on a completely different nightmare. A painter once hailed as a genius newcomer watches his gift slip away, and before long he is living off his wife with nothing left but regret and empty canvases. Desperate to claw back his talent, he decides he must finish a masterpiece at any cost. He wanders the night hunting for inspiration until a strange crimson blaze erupts in the dark. Where that sun-like flame burns out, he finds it, a holy angel wreathed in light and shadow. The sight sears itself into him. He races home, snatches up his brush, and begins to paint like a man possessed. But the paints refuse to obey. Something is wrong with the image. He mutters that these colors cannot recreate perfection, and the palette knife digs deeper as red Kool-Aid spatters across the canvas and the floor. The frenzy only grows. The angel on the canvas twists into something far darker while the painter keeps working, humming, lost inside the horror he is creating. Outside, a carriage rolls toward a grand mansion under a cold sky. Cut to the present. Lady Evangeline offers Henna a room at the mansion. Henna almost refuses on the spot. Every instinct screams that she should pack up and head home before the ghost story tightens its grip. Yet the memory of how Donau passed is still vivid in her mind, and the thought of upsetting the lady keeps her frozen. Beside her, Kana looks strangely satisfied by the whole nauseating situation. Henna seizes the opening and asks if her sister can stay too. Evangeline agrees without hesitation. Henna immediately volunteers to choose the room herself, steering them toward the chamber right below the lady's own. She knows the risk. If the butler spots her walking around when she is supposedly ill, they might transfer her out. The room she picks still holds the furniture of someone already gone, but that only makes it more convenient. Night settles over the estate. Henna lies awake, listening to footsteps above, and quietly decides she really likes this room. A massive cat appears at the bedside. She mutters that the creature is basically a monster, yet the moment still feels oddly peaceful. Kana thanks her for coming so soon. Henna simply holds her sister's hand tighter. No matter how strangely Kana has been acting, to Henna she is still just her beloved younger sister, and for one quiet breath, the haunted mansion almost feels safe. That soft feeling does not last. Genre-savvy Henna immediately starts plotting the classic villainless escape route. She will write a careful letter to the Argent Count and attach a torn page from Evangeline's mother's diary, the one filled with curses against him. Step 1, tear the cursed page free. Step 2, fold it neatly inside the letter. Step 3, wait for the reply. In her head, the whole scheme is already stamped problem solved, and she can almost taste the peaceful life waiting on the other side. She pictures herself keeping every dangerous secret right beside her while she and Kana enjoy a thrilling, villainless lifestyle under the same roof. For a second, the plan feels airtight. Then the door opens on a man in a sharp uniform who does not look friendly. He delivers the line that shatters every careful calculation. He is sorry to say this, but she might be accused of kidnapping Donau's sister. Henna's eyes go wide. An accusation like that was never in the original script. The ghost story just threw a brand new disaster onto the board, and whatever comes next is going to hurt. Chapter 9 picks up with our genre-savvy heroine staring down another mess she never signed up for. The letter that was supposed to reach her never arrived, and the duel incident everyone wants to bury is already circling back. She weighs whether to stay curious or finally sit down with the man at the center of it. Lady Johanna decides the smart play is a proper reply. Stationery comes out, the pen hits the page, and she drafts a cool, measured answer to Sir Gabriel. If the original plot wants her cornered, she is at least going to walk into the meeting on her own terms. The reunion is polite on the surface. Gabriel greets her like an old acquaintance, and the conversation slides straight to Anna. He wants to know if the girl looked injured when she was brought back, and Johanna answers carefully, already sensing this chat is loaded. Meanwhile, the household is fraying. Every glimpse of the mark on Anna's neck drags the mood down, and the red-haired attendant, who wanted nothing more than hot water, ends up leaving the room in tears. The mansion feels heavier by the minute. Gabriel finally drops the real reason he came. He needs Lady Johanna's opinion, and the way he says it makes it clear this is not a casual favor. Something about Donna's end has twisted into a political nightmare, and she is standing right in the blast radius. The accusation hanging over her is ugly. If the story sticks, Johanna gets painted as the one who took Donna out in an act of treason. She feels the original script tightening around her neck and mutters that this world is working overtime to cast her as the villain. Gabriel produces a rough sketch of the scene where Donna was found. The figure does not look human, it looks almost holy, wings and all, and that single drawing is what lit the fuse. People who saw the remains started whispering that Donna had been blessed. An artist turned the sketch into a full piece, donated it to the temple, and the rumor mill exploded. Fanatics ran with the saint's story, higher-ups ordered a fresh investigation, and suddenly Donna's passing had to mean something grand, which, of course, puts the blame square on Johanna. Johanna's mind races through every escape route, change her story and she looks guiltier. Claim Donna summoned something and maybe, just maybe, they listen. She tests Gabriel instead, asking if he thinks she is lying. His answer is quiet and steady. He does not believe Donna was blessed by any god. Then he says the words that make every romance fantasy alarm in her head go off. He wants to help her. Johanna freezes, genre-savvy instincts screaming that this is a classic flag. She came here to dodge a cursed role, not collect a male lead crush. She shuts the romance door hard. She is not interested. She is a person, not a paper doll, and she would rather keep her possession story clean. Gabriel takes the rejection without flinching and simply says he is curious about her anyway, even if the curiosity cuts both ways. Back to business. The reason he went after Donna was Anna's kidnapping. When he found the girl, she was bound in a very specific daisy chain pattern, the same motif that now makes Johanna's skin prickle with calm recognition. She asks him to draw it. The result is unmistakable, a summoning circle. The moment the circle is named, the air itself seems to stop. Birds freeze mid-flight, sound drops out of the world, and for a heartbeat, everything feels like the grand orchestra just cut out. Johanna's offer of help hangs in that terrible silence. Gabriel's expression goes distant and cold. He talks about ants in a garden, about how a greater being would never notice crushing them, and how the crime would already be finished before anyone realized. The ghost story undercurrent of this novel is no longer hiding. He admits the curiosity again, even the negative kind, and the scene shifts outside to a massive cherry tree. Blossoms burst from what should be a withered trunk, glowing unnaturally, while Gabriel stares as if the tree is showing him something no one else can see. A subordinate asks what has him so fixed on the tree. Gabriel answers that it is simply a very large cherry tree, but when he looks again, the figure that had been suspended among the branches is already gone, leaving only falling petals and the question of whether any of it was real. Was it a trick of the light and the blossoms, or did something finish its business and vanish? Johanna has the summoning pattern, a would-be ally who may not be entirely human, and a ghost story that just refused to stay on the page. Next time, the hauntings stop being subtle. Chapter 10 kicks off with pure chaos energy. Our purple-haired chibi streaker bolts down a foggy street while a carriage thunders past and a glowing butterfly flaps right into the frame like it owns the place. Something about this night already feels off-script. The butterfly keeps pace, wings flashing, until the whole scene erupts in a violent crash of sound effects. Whatever just happened on that road, it was no ordinary bump in the night. The atmosphere snaps from cartoon slapstick straight into dread. Cut to the commander, standing rigid in an ornate hall, staring down the memory of something that still makes his skin crawl. An illusion of Evangeline Romanov dangling from a noose. He mutters that it is not even funny. The ghost story is already rewriting the scenery in his head. He digs deeper into the testimony he heard before the Count's letter ever arrived. While gathering intel on Evangeline, a priest swore he watched the girl who should have been gone come right back to life, except the temple has 0 funeral records for her. The twist gets darker. The one who actually ended up suspended was the very priest who claimed to lead her service. No farewell note, no body, just a quiet little ledger proving he had been pocketing temple gold by the sackful. People whispered it was divine punishment that finished him. A scrap of paper survived the flames at the scene, and the unburned sentence is pure nightmare fuel. Beware and remember, curse ye, and may the holy angel of light descend upon this house. The commander wants to know what that even means. Rumor says the curse once turned a young nobleman into an angel. The only solid lead left is an old commanding circle, a spell that used to be common until the light class priests cracked down. Rathaela is put on the spot. Does she know anything about curses? Before anyone can answer, a spotted cat rockets out of nowhere. The commander goes flying, nearly becomes roadkill under his own carriage, and ends up dangling while yelling at whoever grabbed him. Turns out the cat is the real menace tonight. Once the heart rates drop, the cat gets a weirdly solemn monologue about injured stomachs being fatal, and the commander is gently herded back toward the carriage. He cannot shake the feeling that bringing up sorcery right before the wheels almost flipped was no coincidence. Elsewhere, gossip swirls around the Grand Temple's famous night painting. Locals claim the portrait of a knight named Michael acts like a living gatekeeper, filtering who gets near the holy grounds. One young lady even swore she scored an audience with the divine because of it. Sister Daisy is on the move through the monastery halls when she is stopped and warned. Father Berga has summoned her, but the other sisters make it crystal clear. He is notoriously handsy with newcomers. She thanks them, then quietly decides she wants 0 extra trouble tonight. Instead of heading to her room, Daisy slips into the library and vows to stay awake until dawn guarding the shelves. She mutters that she barely managed to escape last time, and the last thing she needs is another close-up of Miss Evangeline's face. Night falls. 2 figures corner her anyway, insisting Father Berga is waiting. Daisy's internal alarms scream that the priest never actually called for her. These 2 just decided to drag her off on their own. She is marched down a dark corridor while they debate whether seeing her will snap the priest back to his senses. They shove her into a side room and tell her that once the priest's condition improves, she can leave. Daisy is not buying it. The second their backs are turned, she is already searching, heart hammering, until she spots a locked box that feels exactly like the missing piece. She drops to the floor, hands shaking, and starts the hidden ritual that has to be finished right now. Red Kool-Aid spreads across the boards as the chant builds. Whatever she just unlocked, it is answering. Daisy looks up, face streaked and eyes wide with pure shock. The ritual worked, but the thing staring back is not what any genre-savvy girl wants to see. That single frozen scream of recognition is the last thing we get before the chapter cuts to black. Chapter 11 drops us straight into the dark. Someone is hunched over a sealed box, purple energy crackling as they mutter that this has to be it, the hidden part of the ritual that finishes the main event. The air itself feels wrong, like the mansion just took a breath it should not have. The summoning circle on the floor flares to life the moment that glowing mark hits the wood. Daisy freezes, purple eyes wide, and the genre-savvy dread hits her like a truck. It does not matter why she got dragged into this body anymore. She has to stop whatever is waking up. Memory slams into her, the white-haired woman she once saw at the Johansson estate, the day everything tilted. Then the words land like a curse. Countless eyes. The walls, the dark, the air itself starts staring back. Blue irises bloom everywhere, layered and endless, and an overwhelming terror rips straight through Daisy. This is not the cozy novel she thought she knew. This is the ghost story peeling its eyes open. She snaps, one sharp no, and the decision is locked. After everything she has already done to escape this fate, she will not let that summoning circle finish, no matter who is standing in the way. Daisy snatches up an axe and charges like a girl who has already pulled the trash card and refuses to play along. Even if she has to take them out herself, that circle is not getting completed tonight. The swing lands, wood splinters, the ritual shatters, and suddenly she is left panting on the floor beside a crumpled figure and a splash of red Kool-Aid. A servant appears, Daisy forces her voice steady and tells them to pretend they heard nothing and walk away. But the horror does not leave with the servant. Chains of eyes still coil in the dark, and Daisy sits there whispering, "What have I done? I was only trying to stop them." The classic transmigrator panic sets in hard. What if she gets caught? Her mind races through the consequences. Taking out a priest is a deeper sin than most, and if anyone finds out, she will face the guillotine. She digs, desperate, telling herself it is nonsense, even as she goes deep enough to hide the evidence. If only someone would help her. Something answers. Long black strands lash out of the dark. A monstrous tongue flicks close, and Daisy recoils with a raw scream. Hair? Whatever it is not friendly, and it just found her. A gloved hand clamps over her mouth. Glowing yellow eyes pin her in place as a dark-haired stranger leans in and orders her to be quiet. He will let go only if she promises to stay silent, and Daisy's first thought is pure genre panic. Who on earth is this person, and are they even human? He does not wait for permission. He has business with her, and she is going to take him to the one he wants, whether she likes it or not. Daisy realizes she already made a vow the moment she accepted that cheap price, and now the after-sales service is coming due. Elsewhere, the ritual reaches its final neat steps, cut, roll, tuck, until the blue cores settle into place and a satisfied voice declares it perfect. The stranger later laughs in the shadows, calling the whole mess great, while Daisy can only cover her face and endure. At dusk, the stranger points her toward the stench hanging over the estate and says what she is looking for is over there. Then he is gone, tossing a casual offer over his shoulder. Call again if she needs help, but next time he charges full price. Cherry blossoms drift past a lonely tree. Daisy learns the young lady once ended herself there, and the petals feel like lost things that never came back. She climbs into a carriage, voice steady, and simply says, "Take her to the temple." But the chapter is not done with surprises. In a field of flowers, a white-haired girl in green stares at a massive black wolf that just spoke. She has never seen this creature before, and the only word it offers is a quiet, desperate "save me," leaving us wondering if Daisy's ghost story just gained a werewolf. Chapter 12 opens inside the mansion's choking dark, where the air itself feels wrong. A leopard-patterned shape coils across the floor like it owns the place, and every shadow seems to lean closer. Our heroine has pulled the trash card again, and the ghost story is already awake. A towering black silhouette rises, and the words hit hard. So you've been playing the role of a pet that doesn't even bite back. The name Fluey Rose lands like a curse, and it is painfully clear our heroine has fallen deeper into the trap than she ever planned. Blue eyes flare open in the dark as the monstrous presence lunges. Energy rips through the frame in a violent burst, the kind of spectacle that screams the original plot is no longer politely waiting its turn. The ghost story just stopped pretending to be subtle. The scene shifts to a misty forest clearing, and there stands our silver-haired heroine in the green dress, staring down at something small and trembling. What's that, she wonders, already suspecting the answer is going to ruin her day. A young black wolf whimpers out a broken please, she, me, and our heroine freezes. A young wolf? Is it a werewolf? In a story that turned out to be a ghost tale, that is never just an adorable woodland encounter. Cue the cheeky math lesson. 1 + 1 = 2, and the only thing more dangerous than a werewolf is the handsome stranger who just strolled in holding a rose. Our genre-savvy heroine's brain is already calculating exactly how fast this subplot can go off the rails. A red-haired girl appears framed like a portrait, and the story itself reminds us there is always a reason the girl ends up in the garden. She clutches the black wolf and demands answers. You said I was safe, why aren't you getting out? Our heroine watches the whole exchange with rising dread. Wait, this won't do. She has to step in and rewrite the script before the wolf and the red-haired girl reach the rotten ending the original novel wrote for them. Please, save me. The black wolf stays glued to her side as she turns back toward the mansion. Fate in this place almost never announces when it will strike, and every step feels like the ghost story is measuring her for the next scare. Back in her room, a sleek black cat-like creature simply appears. Huh? Who are you? The little beast offers no answers, only that unblinking stare that somehow makes the haunted house feel a fraction less empty. A soft meow and a scatter of sparkles later, our heroine is already fretting over how to treat this unexpected guest. Then, just a moment, she reaches out, only to sense the same eerie mark the ghost story loves to stamp on everything it touches. Dark warnings swirl around her. If things go badly, you can just better yourself. A purple-tinged shadow looms while she admits she cannot really see the path forward. Then, perfect, the spotted cat makes itself right at home on the furniture. The cat yawns wide enough to show every tooth, and our heroine actually laughs. Haha, no way? She ends up sitting on the floor with her new companion like this is a perfectly normal evening for a girl stuck in a cursed role. A purple chibi advisor pops in with zero chill while the black presence lingers. Now it seems your body has already been marked. You have to show you want to become sacred. The air crackles, and suddenly our heroine is coughing hard as something forces its way through. Between coughs, she almost forgets the most basic question. What's your name? The creature stays silent, so she makes the call herself. All right then. Since you have those cute little ears, I'll call you Jelly. Jelly it is, but night is already falling and the estate is preparing for the masquerade ball. Servants empty the confectionery and the flower shop, leaving early until the halls echo with nothing but quiet footsteps and bad omens. One maid hesitates at the door. Hey, why don't we go? But the house rules keep everyone trapped. Then red Kool-Aid splatters across the stairs as someone loses their footing. EK, a green-haired figure, appears with a calm warning. You should be careful. If you fall backwards from here, there are stairs. The red-haired figure manages a shaky thank you, but is already late. The lights must be out before the ball begins. Flowers are not blooming this year, and on masquerade night, the truth finally lands. This could truly be a ghost story. Final house rule, do not carry lanterns. Chapter 13 drops us straight into the dark. Something has Andras writhing, long black hair spilling across the floor as a raw, burning pain rips through him. He gasps that it feels like drowning, and the culprit is already clear. A splash of holy water just tore into this body like it had a personal grudge. Andras forces out a ragged breath, stunned that a little holy water could put him through this much agony. In the shadows, he demands to know exactly what that thing was, the one that left even a being like him shaken. The memory hits hard. A pale figure stands locked in place, instincts screaming not to move an inch. Whatever seized him did not just restrain Andras, it dragged him down to his knees and made him feel small. A massive black beast looms in the vision, power rolling off it in waves. Andras realizes only a god should be capable of forcing him that low. Yet the presence he felt was definitely no god, and that is the part that truly rattles him. Back in the present, the tension snaps into something almost domestic. Andras glares at the sleek black cat perched on the table while a blonde attendant warns him he will make Lady Johanna sad if he keeps this up. The cat, of course, looks completely unbothered. The blonde drops the real threat. Want another taste of that holy water? Andras explodes at the feline for handing the stuff over in the first place, voice echoing through the hall until a red-haired woman steps in and tells him he is scaring her sister. She asks him to keep it down. Andras just mutters that the only thing he cares about is getting out of this cursed mansion, the earlier terror still clinging to him like smoke. Morning light cuts the gloom. Our heroine, Lady Johanna, sinks into a soft bed and almost sighs with relief. After the chaos of the night before, she barely slept. Yet the second her head hits the pillow, the whole nightmare starts to feel half like a dream. She knows better. This is still the novel world she was dropped into, complete with its ghost story rules. Overthinking will only make her miserable, so she decides to face whatever comes next without spiraling. A spotted little companion is already curled against her. Good morning, Anima. The cat refuses to hop down, and Johanna deadpans that she is not sharing a bed with a grown man, special treatment or not. A black wolf form appears with a cheeky claim that they can transform into humans too. Johanna shuts that down instantly, then eyes the cat again and realizes this little menace is just playing dumb on purpose. She scoops the fluffy form close anyway. One soft thump later, she is buried in fur and pure relief floods her face. Thank goodness she was not cuddling a fully grown man. What a relief, and maybe this partnership is for the best after all. The peaceful moment shatters when the blonde attendant yells for everyone to get down. The black cat launches like a missile, and Johanna has to break up the chaos while the red-haired woman arrives with a calm good morning. The red-haired companion notices how tired Johanna looks and asks about dreams. Johanna refuses to slip back into the modest villainess act from some fluffy romance. She is done playing that part. Her friend still offers a handmade bunny bag anyway, embroidered with stubborn affection. Johanna mentions Gabriel was supposed to leave, but she has heard nothing. A protective charm is pressed into her hands to keep unwanted attention at bay. The maids immediately swarm, gushing over how adorable she looks in the new dress. She steps out looking every bit the elegant lady, telling herself not to stare and not to speak nonsense. Yet in the shadows, a pair of glowing red eyes watches, and a voice promises it is always watching over them. So everything will be just fine, right? Chapter 14 opens on a rare sunny break in the gloom. Kanna and her sister step into the city for the first time, and every shop window is sparkling like it knows they finally have a little coin to spend. They decide the first order of business is dessert, because priorities. The lady of the house handed them spending money, and Kanna is still half convinced this whole outing is going to vanish if she blinks too hard. Kanna admits she has never been anywhere this grand before, and the confession lands heavy. Her sister softens, reminding her they can always come back later, but only if they do not keep the lady waiting too long. A tiny blue gem catches Kanna's eye, and she lights up like she just pulled a rare drop. For 1 second, the weight of her trash card fate lifts, and she actually lets herself feel happy. But the story never lets her stay warm for long. A ghostly vision blooms around a white-haired figure cradling a crystal ball, whispering that she hopes her sister becomes someone the lady will truly cherish. The vision lingers on a perfect wedding scene that feels more like a warning than a blessing. Kanna's sister frets that the lady has already grown too attached, and the air around them turns colder. Cut to the grand cathedral gates. Carriages roll in under a sky that suddenly feels too quiet, and every noble eye is already hunting for gossip. One crest stands out, the Count of Johansson's family. Whispers fly about the single scout daughter and whether the shabby pair stepping down from the carriage could possibly be connected to that house. The crowd decides the clothes are far too plain for a Johansson heiress, and the laughter starts. Kanna and her sister keep walking anyway, heads high, while the rumors chase them like hungry shadows. Inside the hall, the atmosphere flips from mockery to pure dread. The chatter is no more, footsteps echo too loudly, and something unseen is already watching from the dark corners. Then she appears, long white hair, burning red eyes, and a presence that makes the entire cathedral feel like it just dropped several degrees. This is no ordinary young lady of the house. She sits alone amid the finery, drowning in loneliness, wondering when her parents will ever return. The grand house feels emptier with every breath she takes. A maid trips and sends a tray crashing across the floor. The white-haired lady barely flinches. She is already miles away inside her own head, missing the two people who used to make the silence bearable, Kanna and Haina. She decides she cannot stay cooped up any longer. If the house will not bring her warmth, she will go find it herself, even if the entire noble crowd is waiting outside to judge every step. The carriage ride is quiet until the whispers start again. Both outfits still look too plain for the occasion, and the crowd cannot decide whether to bow or sneer. She steps into the light anyway, white hair catching every stare, and the hall falls silent once more. Whatever game the original story planned for Kanna just gained a new, terrifying player, and the next move is already in motion. Chapter 15 opens on the road, and our heroine is already deep in that familiar rotten luck mood. She and Melly are heading out toward the Grand Temple, bags in hand, while the original story's quiet little side trip starts feeling a lot less quiet. Something about this outing is already off script, and she can feel it. A figure in white sweeps past them without a second glance. Melly notes that she could have waited, but the stranger just keeps walking, and the heroine clocks every detail like the genre-savvy survivor she is. In a ghost story, nobody strolls by that casually without a reason. Her temper flares green in her eyes the second the path gets blocked. One sharp kick later and she is out, muttering that she only came because staying cooped up forever was never going to work. Lana grew up locked inside that house, so of course the outside world feels like a minefield she has to map herself. She stares out over the city and runs the logic again. There is no way the original Lana would have pulled a stunt like this on her own, which means every step she takes is already rewriting the trash card role she got stuck with. The sky looks peaceful, the plot does not. They arrive at the gathering point just as carriages roll in and titles start flying. Lady Johanna makes her entrance in full dramatic fashion, white hair and all, while a branch family noble named Malkin introduces himself with perfect manners. The heroine watches the social chessboard light up and braces for impact. Johanna does not do subtle. She floats through the conversation like she owns the air itself, joking about dining with ducal families and hoping nothing ruins the wedding season. The men around her scramble to keep up, and young Lord Dexter ends up attached to the group whether he planned it or not. Dexter bows out with an urgent excuse, looking every bit the carefully dressed young lord who suddenly has somewhere else to be. Johanna watches him go, already spinning rumors, then turns the spotlight straight onto the painting the girls came to see. The Grand Temple is waiting, and so is whatever hangs inside it. The heroine admits she originally planned to send only the children, but worry dragged her along to the Grand Temple herself. Johanna offers them a look at the painting before it gets taken down, then cheerfully refuses to join them. She has zero interest in ending up like a still body in a frame, and the heroine cannot exactly blame her. A knight is assigned, the purple-haired escort snaps to attention, and the two girls are led toward the prayer room. Johanna stays behind, looking relieved that nobody insisted on guiding her personally. For a moment, the heroine almost relaxes. Almost. Inside the temple halls, the air changes. Whispers about an investigation with zero progress drift past, thorns of rumor spreading faster than any official report. More and more visitors keep pouring in just to stare at one painting, and the heroine's genre instincts start screaming that this is never just about art. Not everyone is here for the painting, though. Some visitors head straight for the fountain and scoop up the water like it is the main event. Melly watches in surprise as people drink on the spot, and the guide casually drops the truth. It is holy water, freely given to anyone who shows up. The heroine's eyes flash the second the words holy water leave anyone's mouth. Melly freezes at the reaction, but the guide keeps smiling and calls the glowing display a simple performance to show off the temple's prosperity. Our girl is not buying the tourist version for a second. They move on, hands linked, and the guide points out the real attraction. People who see the painting split into two camps. One side calls it extremely beautiful, the other side finds it deeply disturbing. The heroine already knows which reaction a ghost story heroine is about to get. The crowd ahead gasps and stares. Melly asks what kind of painting could possibly cause reactions that extreme. Then the heroine looks, and the polite temple tour ends right there. Green and red light explodes across her vision. She clutches her face as something far past any sacred blessing rips through the frame, a performance that has nothing to do with prosperity and everything to do with the final moments of everyone who ever stared too long. The painting is not art, it is a window, and something on the other side is looking back. She forces the words out anyway. It is truly beautiful. Melly turns, eyes wide and glowing, and whispers her name like she is not sure the person standing next to her is still the same girl. Whatever the painting showed Kana, it is not finished with her yet, and the next chapter is going to make that very clear. Welcome back to the mansion that keeps proving it is not a cozy romance novel. Someone is already done with this place, calling it straight up abhorrent, while another voice quietly insists the painting in front of them is truly beautiful. That split in perception is the first crack we need to watch. The artwork itself is pure radiance, an angelic figure bathed in gold. To Kana, the painting looks beautiful, almost holy, and the question hangs in the air. What kind of magic did the artist pour into this canvas to make it hit that hard? But not everyone is buying the miracle. A cooler voice points out that polarized reactions only prove the painting is still hanging in the temple, and that calling it beautiful might just be an attempt to belittle the artwork itself. The red-haired observer is not impressed. Down below, the conversation turns practical. The painting looks different depending on who stares at it, and the difference is starting to feel unpleasant. Then the captain shows up, and suddenly everyone is on edge about why he is here at all. The two sisters step aside. One of them wants out of this place immediately, but she cannot leave Kana alone with the painting. Kana has been acting strange ever since she laid eyes on it, and that is never a good sign in a ghost story. Kana keeps staring. To her, the pattern does not look like paint anymore. It looks like eyes. Endless, watching eyes swirling out of the canvas, and the temperature in the room drops straight into nightmare territory. The blonde sister freezes. That is impossible. Eyes? But Kana said the exact same thing. Whatever is living inside that painting just confirmed it is not a normal piece of art, and both of them just got the same cursed glimpse. The vision goes full horror. A red skeletal maw opens, asking if it was beautiful, while those horrifying eyes keep multiplying. An ordinary person would never look at something like that and call it a human body. Something in Kana is broken somewhere. Flashback hits hard. Maybe Kana has always been built like a final boss, the kind of child who suffered quietly until the world decided she was the problem. Even so, her sister cannot bring herself to hate her. Leaving things as they are might be the only mercy left. Back in the present, the warning is sharp. Listen carefully, Kana. Do not tell people that painting looks holy to you. Once the temple crowd decides the artwork is sacred, this whole situation turns into a powder keg neither of them can control. Kana does not even seem strange on the surface. She just stands there while her sister's thoughts spiral. What if all of this is just an unexplainable mess because she cannot face the truth? The only answer she lands on is simple and fierce. She will always choose what is best for her sister. Cut to a completely different kind of holy ground. A silver-haired lady is supposed to be praying, but she dozed off instead, drooling on the temple floor like the world's least dignified pilgrim. She came here hoping for a direct line to something divine. So far, the only answer is silence. She still thought a place this sacred might hand her the possession of actually talking to a god. Instead, she gets a burst of golden light, a very dramatic tumble, and the sinking feeling that she got her hopes up way too high. Classic. Rescue arrives in the form of a calm escort offer. Shall he take her to the captain then? She is not exactly relieved, but at least she is no longer face down on holy tile. Before that, though, she has a tiny request involving holy water and the awkward reality of her current possession problem. If she cannot get any possession power, she will just stock up on healing stones and call it a day. For some reason, the stones still work on her, which is both convenient and deeply suspicious. She insists she is all right, flashing a peace sign like nothing haunted is happening at all. Then the real chaos walks in. A dark-haired man takes one look at the load she is carrying and loses it. No way, that is worse. She is worse than a demon. He ends up hauling the ridiculous stack himself while she cheerfully tells him to carry it while she rests. The messenger cat thing watching them has seen enough. He is a messenger, so they will treat him by small amount and keep moving. But as they step out into the open hall, two familiar figures are already waiting in the distance. Whatever quiet moment this temple offered is about to end, and the ghost story is far from finished with any of them. Chapter 17 kicks off with the captain getting pulled into an urgent mess. Something strange has surfaced at the manor, and the knights are not wasting time calling him in. He sends the others ahead while he digs deeper. The report is simple and deeply wrong. Witnesses claim they saw the lady of the house return, the one who was supposed to be long gone from the story. Outside the grand estate, the air feels heavy. The knights talk about a summoning, about records that should not exist, and about people still lingering inside a place that should have gone quiet. Cut to the temple. A desperate witness is ready to swear before anyone who will listen. He came to confirm a rumor and instead found the woman herself, very much present, and now he will testify no matter the cost. Then the chapter drops the mask. Red energy lashes through the dark as a pale figure stands at the center of it all. Power crackling like the story itself just woke up angry. Visions slam in hard. A white-haired woman wreathed in light and thorns, winter flowers blooming where they should not, blades that refuse to bite. Whatever she is, ordinary steel is useless against her. The captain wants none of the superstition. He shuts the talk down cold and orders the testimony locked away from anyone who does not need to hear it. But the unease is already spreading. Guests arrive at the temple. Hera steps into the hall beside the captain, and the atmosphere shifts the second eyes land on her. Old acquaintances, half-remembered faces, and questions she is not ready to answer. Hera's composure cracks. She covers her face, whispering, "What has she done?" while the captain stays close and the others trade looks that say far too much. One wrong word and the whole fragile cover tears open. They get her outside just in time. That was close, and everyone feels it. Miss Hera overhears fragments she was never meant to catch, and the captain's silence is louder than any explanation. Hands clasp, eyes meet. Hera insists it was nothing, but the green in her gaze says otherwise. Somewhere in the temple, a different conversation is already deciding her next move for her. The white-haired woman appears like a ghost stepping out of the visions. She would rather leave than vanish completely, and if the temple pushes her, she will melt their neat little doctrines another way entirely. Recognition hits like a slap. Sir Raphael freezes. The pink-haired knight blurts out Lady Johanna's name, but the woman only smiles, soft and distant, and greets them as if she has all the time in the world. He has heard the knight's stories about her sister. Introductions tumble out in a rush of awkward energy until she quietly admits the truth. She lost her memory. Her name, she says, is Iris. Hera stares, heart hammering. Is this a dream? The chapter plunges into the nightmare logic she has been dreading. That look of someone possessed, the impossible fact of another soul wearing a body that should not be empty. Iris's voice turns gentle, almost kind. She tells Hera not to be afraid. If silence is what they need, she will offer compensation. One condition only: do not spread stories about her. But the final frames refuse to stay gentle. Something with glowing eyes watches from the dark, and the ghost story Hera thought she could outsmart just looked straight back at her. Next chapter, the bargain gets tested. Chapter 18 opens on pure leftover spite. Our white-haired heroine stands in the middle of a mansion corridor while someone vows to remember her with great enmity and leave her completely alone. She answers with that signature cool smile and offers to grant any wish if they ever come looking. The reaction is instant panic. A brown-haired girl freezes mid-step and our heroine's eyes go wide as she realizes the framing has already started. She is being blamed for playing a part in John's Lights Out, and the unfairness hits her like a truck. Cue the full chibi meltdown. She wails that this is so unfair and demands to know why he has to carry the entire weight of someone else's hatred. When a voice asks who the hater even is, the answer comes sharp. Who do you think? The brown-haired girl wonders out loud if this is Daniel Monroe territory. Our heroine waves it off, saying Daniel is actually fine with her and would never try to harm her. At least one person in this cursed story is not actively rooting for her downfall. A black-haired escort appears right on cue, dryly asking what took her so long. She reminds him she followed orders and came back. Then the two of them start walking while a third figure watches from the shadows. Tension is already thick enough to cut. Suddenly, our heroine bolts. The pink-haired knight offers to escort her properly, but she insists she is fine and that the carriage stop is right there. She takes off in a blur of white hair and panic while the two men just stare after her. The pink-haired man notes that she simply ran off, and his companion agrees. He jokes about covering his ears for their private chat, but the truth slips out. She did not look like she wanted to talk at all. Even worse, the pink-haired knight admits he does not even remember who she is. That tracks for a side character nobody bothered to write properly. Our heroine mutters to herself about his sudden exit and wonders if he is secretly a tsundere. Then the pink-haired knight finally asks about the young gentleman beside her, realizing too late that the missing badge threw him off. The black-haired escort shrugs that he is perfectly fine talking without a badge. The pink-haired knight accepts it, then casually mentions they have been out of the knight's reception room for quite a while. Time to leave the two of them alone, but not before a certain name drops. Jelly. The name hits the air and everything shifts. Our heroine freezes, asking how he knows about that, while a tiny black cat spirit pops up in the corner. The escort calmly explains he got her out of the aisle and they escaped together during the chaos. The pieces click. The reason Jelly was being framed ties straight back to the Flame tragedy. Daisy and Jelly were both victims who ran for their lives together, and seeing him again dragged every buried memory of being captured right back to the surface. Our heroine decides she should avoid him for now. The pink-haired knight eyes how close she seems with her escort and gets a firm denial that they are anything of the sort. She turns away under a shower of sparkles, insisting they are not close in the slightest, and walks off into the grand hall. The story takes a darker turn as the lore of a cursed painter unfolds. He found inspiration in an old woman's smile, but after she passed on, he became obsessed with painting the beauty of what remained. The villagers eventually finished him for it, yet something bizarre answered the violence. The very moment the painter was gone, chaos erupts in the present. Flames roar to life without warning. Gymnopedes' painting bursts into a wall of fire right there in the mansion, and panic spreads through the hall as people scream that the sacred artwork cannot be allowed to burn. Guards and nobles rush toward the blaze while our heroine stands frozen at the edge of the light. She looks up at the sudden noise and the golden sparks drifting through the air, completely unaware that the ghost story just lit a match under the entire plot. The painting is gone and the mansion is screaming. Whatever curse the painter left behind has finally woken up, and our genre-savvy heroine is standing right in its path. Next chapter, the real haunting begins. Chaos explodes out of nowhere. Screams tear through the halls as someone shrieks that there's a fire, and the whole place instantly tips into full panic mode. Guests freeze, then bolt toward the noise. Something has clearly gone very wrong, and the air already feels thick with smoke and dread. A fire all of a sudden, our heroine feels a chill of recognition crawl up her spine because this exact brand of disaster feels way too familiar for comfort. Then the real problem snaps into focus. The painting is burning, flames licking across the canvas like they have a personal grudge, and panic turns into pure desperation. Crowds scream for Sir Knight to put the fire out. Voices overlap in a frantic chorus while the flames keep climbing higher and hotter. Even the knights look overwhelmed. One of them mutters that the people have totally lost it, or maybe this painting is something only Mikkel was ever meant to handle. Mikkel refuses to stand back. He decides he cannot let that painting go up in flames, no matter how stupidly dangerous the choice looks. He charges straight into the inferno. Flames roar around him as he grabs for the burning canvas, and everyone watching loses their minds. Shouts rain down on him to let go and get clear. Michel keeps fighting the fire anyway, looking seconds away from being finished by the blaze himself. At this rate, the whole rescue is about to go sideways. Then a single tear glitters into pink hair, a sharp snap cuts the air, and the mood flips from frantic to something far colder. Silence drops like a guillotine. It feels as if something monstrous is staring down from far away, and then Evangeline Johansson simply walks into the middle of the hellscape. She crosses the scene of chaos like she owns it. Every cry of agony cuts off as if it had never happened, and the crowd can only stare blankly while she approaches Michael. Evangeline stops right in front of him while he still clutches the ruined painting. Their eyes meet, and in that instant, Isabella witnesses the birth of a full-blown fanatic. No adjective in the world could cover what Michel feels the second their gazes lock. Whatever he sees in Evangeline's eyes rewrites him on the spot. Blue light flares as Evangeline works. Holy water hits the flames, the fire collapses, and the nightmare finally lets go of the room. The aftermath is pure awkward gratitude. Nobles stumble over thanks, call her Lady Johansson, and treat her like a goddess who just strolled out of a portrait, while she casually explains she always keeps holy water on hand. With the crisis over, the group tries to move on toward the capital. Evangeline brushes off the praise like it was nothing, yet every eye in the hall is already locked on the pale, beautiful young lady who just rewrote the entire night. Chapter 20 picks up with our heroine, Evangeline Johansson, already deep in damage control mode. She knows her original novel reputation is pure trash tier, so she is actively plotting how to polish her image around Darcy before the next disaster hits. The mansion halls feel too quiet, and that alone has her genre-savvy nerves on edge. She mutters that if trouble comes, she will simply have one less ally, then forces herself to keep moving. Beside her, a companion listens while Evangeline decides the only smart play is careful observation. One wrong step and the ghost story underneath this novel will swallow her whole. Her expression hardens as she wonders what Darcy actually thinks of her. She steadies herself with a quiet, "let's go," and steps forward with her small entourage into the grand hall. Whatever waits inside, she has to face it looking like she belongs. The moment she arrives, a sharply dressed, dark-haired man greets her with perfect formality. "You've arrived, Lady Johansson." He already noticed she was watching from the shadows, and Evangeline realizes this captain does not miss much. The air between them crackles with unspoken calculation. Chaos erupts when a red-haired girl named Anna barrels straight into her. Evangeline barely stays upright while Anna blurts apologies, and the captain warns that the collision was dangerous. Our heroine freezes, red eyes wide, trying to process why this girl is clinging to her like a lifeline. Anna is completely blank, staring into space after overhearing something shocking about that person. Evangeline's internal monologue goes full detective mode. What kind of news could shut a lively maid down this hard? She files the mystery away while the captain smoothly offers his hand and guides her to sit. Left alone for a moment, Evangeline pieces together fragments about an investigation and a flustered Miguel. She wanders into a quiet side room, still replaying every odd detail. Something about tonight already feels off script, and for a girl trapped in a ghost story, that is never good news. The captain returns and thanks her for coming in person. He explains the young master incident should be settled soon, then casually notes they do not usually greet guests at the door like this. Evangeline seizes the opening and asks the question burning in her mind: what exactly do people say about her? His answer is almost worse than insults. He claims he hears nothing about her at all. Evangeline's face falls. Even the servants who gossip about everyone else stay silent on her name. In a story where reputation can get you finished, being a blank page is its own kind of curse. Then he hands her a document, testimony from the night her mother passed on. Evangeline reads about a monastery, a summoning circle linked to Jonah's party, and her pulse spikes. The handwriting and symbols look wrong, too familiar, like something that should not exist in this novel's world. A vision slams into her, a glowing magic circle, a silhouette raising a blade, darkness claiming someone who might be connected to that night. She flips the page in a panic and freezes. Stamped across the paper is her full name, Evangeline Johansson, as if the testimony is about her. The letters glitch and tear like reality itself is buffering. Evangeline's breath catches. Is her possession breaking right this second? Why are the perfect conditions suddenly lined up for something far worse than the original plot ever warned her about? She snaps back to the present, papers fluttering, while the captain calmly repeats that he truly hears nothing. Evangeline studies his unreadable face and decides the safest move is to keep the document close. She quietly asks Anna to hold onto it for later, and the red-haired girl agrees with a bright smile that hides zero suspicion. Anna promises to guard the paper and keep quiet. Evangeline thanks her, still rattled, then turns back to the captain, who insists this help is more than enough. She catches herself thinking he acts exactly like a classic romance fantasy male lead, which is either perfect luck or the setup for another haunting. A knock interrupts. Captain Bishop has arrived and wishes to see her. Evangeline composes herself, tells Anna she will finish the last errands first, then heads out. Outside, the sky is already burning orange as a carriage waits, and the captain offers his hand with quiet intensity. Their fingers meet under the sunset glow. He tells her to look forward to the day they meet again, and she answers that she will. For a heartbeat, the ghost story dread fades into something warmer, almost like the romance plot is trying to rewrite itself around her. Evangeline climbs into the carriage, still feeling the ghost of that touch. As the wheels roll away, she presses a hand to her chest, cheeks warm, replaying every word. What was that just now supposed to mean? And in a story that keeps glitching around her name, will the next meeting save her or finish her for good? Here's where Chapter 21 picks up the pieces. That so-called farewell greeting Evangeline just pulled still hangs in the air, and the man she left behind is replaying every second of it. He stares after her vanishing figure and can only manage a stunned silence. He remembers the exact moment her hand slipped into his. Tiny, ice cold, far too cold for someone who is supposed to be breathing. The body temperature alone is enough to make his thoughts stall. He keeps turning it over. Her heart was beating, slow but real, so she is clearly alive. Yet something inside him refuses to let go of the feeling that whatever lives in that body is not entirely human. That is the thing about Evangeline Johnson. She treats people like they barely register and somehow makes everyone else accept it as natural. The cold brand of that almost kiss still lingers on his skin like a warning. Cut back to Evangeline herself, staring blankly at a fork like the universe just blue-screened. She is stuck replaying the same moment, only from her side, and her brain is not handling it gracefully. She tries to logic her way out. It was just a stylish greeting, nothing more. Yet the second his breath brushed her hand, her own heart did a full sprint, and she is desperately blaming the beauty magic for the chaos. A knock snaps her out of it. Red-haired maid Hannah bursts in, fretting that her lady will catch a chill, and presses a hand to Evangeline's forehead like a worried mother hen. Except Hannah is acting completely off script. No scolding, no usual fire, just blank eyes and soft concern. Even the little purple spirit floating nearby is side-eyeing the whole scene, wondering if the maid is sick. Evangeline tries to send her off to rest, but Hannah digs in. Something about that earlier encounter has the maid hovering closer than ever, determined to look after her lady whether Evangeline likes it or not. Then the real problem surfaces. Evangeline needs the paper that was handed over earlier, the one that might actually contain useful clues. Hannah produces it, only for everyone to realize the writing got mixed straight into the candy. Hannah breaks, tears start falling, and Evangeline freezes, realizing she is the only person in this house who could ever make her maid cry like that. So she does the only thing that makes sense. She pulls Hannah into a tight hug and owns the mess. With the letter ruined, the trail goes cold. The only remaining leads point toward the house's master, a far-off pavilion, and one place Evangeline once mentioned in passing, the lake area near the old convent orphanage. Decision made. Evangeline orders the carriage and tells Hannah they are heading straight for that convent. She even remembers to request extra bread for the children, because if you are going to crash an orphanage, you at least bring snacks. They arrive loaded with gifts, ready to play the generous noble. A kind nun even presses an umbrella into Evangeline's hands because the sky is turning ugly fast. Accepting charity feels strange, but refusing would look worse. Rain hits like a switch got flipped. Evangeline shoves Hannah toward the carriage first and keeps the umbrella, but the downpour only grows heavier. Then she spots a figure through the sheets of water. A sudden whoosh, a splash, and someone goes down hard in the flooded street. Evangeline freezes under the umbrella, staring at the fallen stranger while rain hammers the ground. And deep in the rippling water, something far less friendly seems to be looking back. Chapter 22 finds our genre-savvy heroine, Evangeline, adrift and restless, staring into empty rooms while the weight of her trash card roll presses down. She has no clean path forward in this ghost story, and the silence only makes her more aware that something is off. The ache hits hard when she thinks of the orphanage children. Evangeline decides right then that she needs to see the place again, if only to chase away the hollow feeling that something precious slipped out of reach. The orphanage rises out of the fog like a warning. A sharp creak freezes her in the doorway, and the moment she steps inside, the halls are completely deserted. Footsteps echo as she heads for the director's office first. The door groans open into harsh light, and Evangeline's eyes snap wide the second she looks down. A massive, glowing magic circle burns across the floor, complete with that unmistakable wrongness she has learned to dread. Her breath stutters as the pieces slam together. The truth is pure nightmare fuel. Everyone here was offered up for this circle. Evangeline bolts, screaming for the director, for anyone at all, the empty corridors swallowing every cry. She races through the glowing halls, terror rising with every unanswered call. Outside, the trees close in and the realization lands hard. A handful of orphans simply vanished, and ordinary help will never be enough. Then she sees them, the ghostly children in their little dresses drifting among the branches. Human solutions are off the table. This is full ghost story territory now. Evangeline takes off into the storm, asking the dark who she is even supposed to turn to. The night rumbles around her while she runs with nowhere left to go. Soaked and breaking, she collapses in the pouring rain and begs the empty air for help. A figure steps out of the downpour with an umbrella, and Evangeline's luck finally twitches. The white-haired stranger says she has been searching for her. Evangeline does not waste the opening. She has a request, a wish that needs granting right now. She reaches out even though she has nothing to offer in return. The instant their hands meet, a strange current races up her arm, sapping her strength like something slowly drinking her dry. Soon they are rolling away in a carriage. Evangeline is dripping wet while her red-haired attendant, Mr. Billy, frets and tries to force his coat on her, scolding the whole way. He finally voices the request. Something felt deeply wrong at the orphanage today. The white-haired woman listens, then calmly agrees to pay the place a visit herself. The name Troy surfaces, the director's biological son. Evangeline's mind locks onto the director's strange, unchanging expression, the one that always looked like he was hiding something from the orphanage all the way to the academy. That face was never innocent. Evangeline's resolve hardens into pure steel as she swears she will drag the orphanage's dirty past into the light and make Troy answer for every bit of it. Chapter 23 drops us straight into the dark. Two kids huddle in a cold room while a purple little spirit drifts nearby, and the orphanage director tries to soothe the frightened boy with empty promises that everything will be fine. The girl clutches tighter as chains start to rattle in the shadows. Something red-eyed and bound is thrashing against its restraints, and the whole place answers with a heavy metallic clank that does not sound friendly. The entity strains harder, red energy crackling around the links until the rattle becomes a full-on roar of chains. Whatever is locked down here is very much awake and very much done waiting. Smash cut to our heroine in full detective mode, magnifying glass and all. She announces today's case with a cheerful ta-da, the missing children incident, and she already has a plan to track the kid who saw the spirit. She knows the faster route is finding the witness and making him talk, but even she admits the real problem. Who willingly walks up to a spirit? Her black-haired companion is already side-eyeing the whole idea. Genre-savvy as ever, she recalls that Karina always crashes the middle of the case in the original story. Solution? Skip the mess and head straight for Anor Orphanage before the plot can corner her. The carriage rolls through a foggy forest, clip-clop echoing too loudly. Her red-haired companion mutters that something feels weirdly quiet, and our heroine gets full-body chills, half joking that a ghost could pop out any second. She tries to laugh it off as peasant romance nonsense, then immediately spots movement. A shadow staggers between the trees in a way that does not look human at all, and both of them jolt upright. The figure keeps lurching closer. Our heroine hates the transparent ones most of all, and her companion is already whispering that it is right there, heart thumping loud enough to hear. Then the shadow resolves into an actual person and the fear flips to pure irritation. She decides there is nothing left to be scared of, which is usually the exact moment this story proves her wrong. Pain or not, she still lunges. One clean smack later, the stranger is face down in the dirt, and she is already preparing to interrogate him like the professional she is pretending to be. Her companions point out she aimed straight for the back of the head. The guy sits up dizzy, sword half drawn, insisting he is fine, while everyone else wonders how a simple stakeout turned into this. Suspicion lands hard. Did this man take the children, pocket the money, and leave the mess for them? They decide the only way forward is inside the orphanage itself, professional con artists or not. The floorboards creak the second they step in. It is pitch dark, so candles get passed around while they split up, one group watching the entrance and the rest combing the halls for any sign of the kids or the caretaker. Room by room they search, hallway, bathroom, dining hall. The kitchen still looks used from only a day or two ago, which is the first real relief they have had. If the place was active that recently, the children might still be breathing. Then a fresh creak cuts through the quiet. Our heroine freezes, eyes sharp, swearing she can hear something moving from one specific direction. Her companion insists they go together. They push the door, cold air, a pale figure, a hand reaching out of the dark, and a voice demanding the door be opened. The little purple spirit appears in pure panic, begging them not to. And that is exactly where the chapter leaves us hanging. Chapter 24 kicks off the second the forbidden door swings open, and our heroine already knows she has broken every rule in the book. A startled shout cuts through the dark as someone warns her she must not open that door. Too late. She stands there with those glowing red eyes, completely unbothered, admitting she already did it. The door creaks wider on its own, and a full magic circle blazes to life across the floor. Our genre-savvy heroine freezes, staring at the glowing seal like the plot just handed her a spoiler she never asked for. Something in this mansion has been waiting for exactly this moment. She pieces it together fast. If that seal was meant to keep everyone in town from clearing a path to leave, then Daisy just proved the whole theory wrong by opening it. The original story rails are already bending, and that is never good news for the girl who pulled the trash card. No time to panic, the red-haired companion offers to help search the room while the heroine mutters that the director might have left clues behind. They start tearing the place apart, under the bed, inside the wardrobe, finding absolutely nothing at first. Then a locked drawer refuses to budge until pure stubborn force wins. The whole thing cracks open with a sharp snap and papers explode everywhere. Our heroine lands hard but waves off the concern. She is fine. She is always fine. Until one document catches her eye. The contents are wrong, deeply wrong. These pages talk about the female lead's first arrival at the manor and a ceremony no one should know about. A ledger lists money received from the children, and the heroine's face goes cold as she demands answers. She looks straight at Daisy and asks for an explanation. The name hangs in the air like a curse. Across the room, a girl in a green coat stares at the same papers, whispering that it cannot be true, that there has to be some kind of mistake. But the evidence keeps stacking up. The documents came from the director's own office, locked behind a key only certain people should have. 10 years ago, something terrible happened here, and the heroine realizes she and Daisy might have been part of it without ever knowing. Chaos interrupts the horror when a cat comes flying through the hall in a crash of furniture and pure feline spite. Someone gets bowled over, the heroine ends up on the floor again, and she dryly notes the creature only ever does this on the worst days. Even the mansion's pets are against her. Once the dust settles, the real hunt begins. Tracks, missing children, and a growing sense that someone in this house knows far more than they are saying. The heroine presses for answers while a purple-haired figure watches the chaos with far too much interest. A sudden smash and a flash of power remind everyone this is still a ghost story. The heroine's mind races. If they hurry, they might still return what was taken to the children. There has to be a plan. There always has to be a plan when the original plot is this rotten. Then she hears it. Soft red mouths appear on the walls and doors, whispering that they are hungry. The empty wardrobe, the missing clothes, the large empty frame, none of it was random. Something underneath this room has been calling to her since the door first opened. The red-haired companion asks if they should stay clear of the wardrobe. Too late. A hand slides along the wood, the floor gives a sickening crumble, and the heroine's eyes light up with pure snark as she realizes the truth. There is a passage under the floorboards. Stairs drop into darkness while outside the mansion looms under a heavy night sky. Somewhere beyond these walls, a blonde woman sits alone on a bench, haunted by dreams of a lady she cannot reach, terrified she may never see Kana again. Back at the estate, worry spreads fast. A maid confesses she is frightened something bad has happened. 2 knights report the lady is still missing, and then Sir Daniel appears, calm, sharp-eyed, and ready. When he learns how long she has been gone, he does not hesitate. He will take his knights and come with them. The heroine's dangerous little investigation just gained serious backup, but the passage under the floor is still waiting, and whatever is hungry down there already knows her name. Chapter 25 drops us straight into Hannah's head, and she is spiraling. Kana has clearly noticed she is not acting like the original trash side character anymore, and Hannah has zero idea how to face her without blowing the whole transmigration secret. The tension sits heavy between them. One look at those sharp green eyes and you can tell the people around Hannah are already sensing something is off about the girl who was supposed to stay quiet and doomed. Someone cuts in with a cold reminder. She is not your younger sister. Hannah stands over a kneeling figure in the dark, the weight of her rewritten role pressing down harder than ever. If anyone figures out she is only real for a stolen moment, the whole cursed script could snap shut on her. Miss Hannah gets called out, and that intense upward stare says she knows the ghost story is watching. A quiet plea floats out. Please try not to notice. The man nearby promises the lady and her younger sister will be all right, swearing he will stay right by her side no matter what crawls out of the dark. Hands clasp in the dim light as the vow is repeated. Then the red-haired figure lifts like something not entirely human, a soft ah escaping as the mansion's true nature starts to surface. Cut to the staircase. A single candle flickers in a trembling hand while footsteps echo down into a passage no one was ever meant to find. The group is heading into the belly of the ghost story itself. The boy with the candle frets out loud. What if there are no children down here either? He is only following the lady's judgment, but the red-haired woman snaps that it is too dark and demands to know if Zella really abandoned them. The others look ready to collapse from the headache of it all. Then the blonde realizes the truth. If the path exists, something really is waiting down in that cellar. No way, the boy insists. He has never heard of any passage like this. Just what are they hiding? And do the directors already know while everyone else stays in the dark? Shock hits him hard. Someone urges them to just go down already because the deeper they look, the more it screams cellar. Yet the boy stays uncooperative right up until the steps swallow them. Footsteps keep dropping into blackness. A voice mutters, "It is already too dark to see." Another growls about always being hungry, and the boy demands why no one is saying whether this is even a ghost or something worse. Then the red-haired presence answers with a chilling calm. "I told you, I never eat humans, and especially not children." Chains rattle in the pit as the past comes roaring back. A violent slash of memory hits. 20 years ago, this thing delighted in chewing children raw and burning them, so why the sudden refusal now? Someone screams demon meat while the creature is reminded this is a dream that grants wishes if you please it. The demon is still bound to the past, no matter how nicely it pretends. If the food ever runs short, it will come crawling back and turn into that endless animal all over again, floating child-shaped reminders swirling around it in the dark. Meanwhile, the real children try to slip away in silence, following what they think is a safe path. But something feels wrong about trusting those little guides, and a sudden rattle of chains freezes everyone in place. Then a shout cuts the dark. Daisy! The red-haired woman appears like a miracle, scooping the kids close while they cry for her to save them. Even her own son made it this far, and the relief lasts exactly one heartbeat. A motherly figure turns on her own boy with a sickening poke, red Kool-Aid dripping as she calls him her naughty son. She decides if the demon will not take the other children, then her own child will make the perfect offering, and she screams for her wish to be granted this instant while the darkness opens its eyes. Whatever answers that call is going to rewrite the ghost story for good. Here's where the ghost story peels back another layer. Long before she was the feared director, she was just Mayra, an orphan at a crumbling place called Minor Orphanage 20 years ago. And the old director back then? She took one look at this charming little girl and decided she was special. Mira had a knack for teaching the other kids, and the director doted on her so hard she even hugged and played with her like family. That affection opens the door to something far darker, a mysterious branch that grants wishes. Mira wants in. She begs to share the branch, and from that day she becomes the director's adopted daughter. For 2 whole years, the orphanage swells with more and more children while Mira keeps making the rounds, gathering them like offerings. The other kids start whispering, "You're a bad child," they tell her. "You won't get any more proof even if you replace us." Then the Grand Temple suddenly starts rounding up sorcerers, and panic hits the orphanage like a storm. In a frenzy, the old director wipes out every trace of the remnant and destroys the evidence. It doesn't save her. She is judged a sorceress and burned until her lights go out. Mira, somehow, slips the net completely. Just like that, Mira inherits the orphanage and every child left behind. At first, the leftover funds keep the place running. Then the money dries up, desperate bets collapse, and she restarts the remnant with nothing but a sliver of hope. When even that fails, she turns to a colder option, selling goods to slave traders. It pays less than the old demon deals, but for Mayra, it is still a deal. Her biological son, Troy, watches it all and grows more rebellious by the day. Troy finally snaps, borrowing a massive sum against the orphanage itself. Even selling every child left won't cover the interest. Cornered and furious at her ungrateful son, Mira heads to the temple to meet a priest who used to be one of her biggest clients. Inside the temple hangs a painting that hides an old summoning circle the previous director once tried to erase. Mira doesn't hesitate. She completes the ritual and successfully calls a demon into the world. The air ignites, red circles flare, the demon rises screaming, and Mayra demands her wish be granted right now. But the summoning is loud, messy, and already spinning out of control as bodies start collapsing around her. The demon is starving. It howls that it is hungry over and over while Mira tries to keep control. Someone nearby begs her to stop. The metallic scent of red Kool-Aid fills the air, and the whole ritual threatens to devour everyone present. Then a glowing, white-haired figure steps into the chaos and calmly asks the demon if it is hungry. She offers to prepare food instead, telling it there is no need to push itself. For a second, the nightmare actually pauses. Mira stares like she is seeing an angel. She begs the stranger not to leave, convinced this is her rescue. But the white-haired woman says the plan has changed. Mira panics and offers anything, even the pure souls of every child in the orphanage. Troy is fading fast in her arms, and she screams for her wish. The white-haired woman admits she once planned to help, yet she will not let Troy go out like this. She wants the truth from him first, and she already has something that might save him. The mess is still everywhere, and the children are still in danger when a sudden crrring cuts the tension. A fluffy cat strolls into the middle of a demon summoning like it owns the place, and a sharp-dressed man in leopard print appears right behind it. He calls the white-haired woman Grandma Lady Chairman and demands to know why she is holding his house cat. She simply apologizes and asks if he brought what she requested. He says yes, desperately. Whatever comes out of that bag next is about to rewrite the entire board. Chapter 27 drops us straight into the orphanage aftermath, and the air is still thick with whatever the wraith just unleashed. The children are shaken but breathing, while one confused survivor keeps flashing back to a mother who passed on with a smile and then nothing. Word spreads fast. The director has been cleanly taken out by the Wraith, and every last child has been pulled to safety. Our heroine clocks the details like the genre-savvy player she is, already calculating how far the original plot just got rewritten. Questions start flying. A boy clutches a key and admits the woman kept mumbling to someone who was not even there. Half the room wonders if she was trying to stop a disaster or simply lost it, and nobody has a clean answer. The adults waste no time. Without a director, the orphanage is finished, so the children will be moved to the nearest home. Papers get drawn up, and the decision lands like a gavel. This place is done. Not everyone is ready to wash their hands of the kids. One firm voice insists that real homes and warmth would be best, yet the temple's shadow still lingers over the whole arrangement. Protection is promised right up to the final moment. Carriages roll out under the night sky. Daisy heads back to the estate with the 3 children in tow, and the black-clothed threat that almost snatched them has already been handled. For a second, it almost looks like a clean win. Sir Gabriel arrives at the estate looking for answers and finds only empty halls. The butler points him toward the orphanage, and he is left standing there with a request he never got to voice and a night that keeps slipping further off script. Later, the air turns electric. A pale hand presses exactly where a pulse beats, and the sensation is so intimate it feels like someone is trying to kiss a heart straight through the ribs. The heroine's composure cracks in real time. She bolts, mind racing. One brush of closeness, and suddenly she is spiraling about strange travelers, fictional men, and how absolutely not ready she is for any of this. Genre savvy or not, romance was never supposed to hit this hard. Memory surfaces of Evangeline's unexpected gentleness with the children, a soft side that only appeared when the line was deliberately crossed. That warmth sits in sharp contrast to the colder, darker images still clinging to the night. A grim flash cuts through, a body crumpling, red Kool-Aid blooming across the ground while a child watches. Gabriel's thoughts drift to his own orphan days and whether a hand like Evangeline's would ever have reached for him back then. He forces the memories shut. The past is already written and cannot be edited, yet the price of every granted wish still hangs over the present like fog around the estate. Confrontation time. The brown-haired girl demands to know exactly what was said to Gabriel about her. The answer lands like a dropped chandelier. She is told, flat out, that she is not Evangeline Johansson. Panic detonates behind her eyes. Did someone just clock the transmigration? Her acting was flawless, the setup perfect, and this was supposed to stay a romance fantasy, not turn into a full identity exposé. She whispers the only question left, then who? Across the veil, a tiny purple spirit blinks in pure shock, suddenly realizing it has been sharing space with a transmigrator this entire time. The ghost story just grew a brand new layer, and next chapter no one is ready for the fallout. Chapter 28 opens on a cold realization. Our heroine, Melia, is still turning over the possession rules in her head. That missing barrier, the fact that only 2 souls ever got yanked into this mess. Something about the whole setup still refuses to add up. She remembers he was planning to tell her everything. The orphan angle keeps circling back, and Melia starts connecting dots she really does not like the shape of. Whatever secret is sitting under this mansion, it is personal. Hannah is right there with her, raw and honest. The red-haired girl who raised her insists the only person who ever truly mattered was Melia herself. No performance, no script, just loyalty that cuts straight through the ghost story fog. Melia almost loses it at the sincerity. She tells Hannah to stop pretending and just be herself, then pulls her into a fierce hug while the weight of everything they have already lost hangs between them. For a second, the mansion feels almost human. A quiet observer notes that the lady will need time to adjust, and Hannah is given free rein to stay close. Outside, the grounds look settled at last, until a very unimpressed cat strolls into frame and makes its feelings known with a full-volume growl. Melia is too drained to argue with an angry feline. The master is summoned, the black cat familiar appears, and suddenly the kids who arrived with them are part of the picture too. Whatever this household is becoming, it is getting crowded with spirits. Then the real confession drops. The dark-eyed figure explains that this body is only called Melia, that it was never truly his to begin with. He used to live in an orphanage right beside the original girl until everything went sideways in the basement. Flashback hits hard. Starvation takes the lights out of that small body. Melia's desperate cry echoes, and only a soul is left behind, screaming with endless hunger. When the eyes open again, the soul is trapped inside the very body that once belonged to his friend. So the strange behavior Amelia has shown since waking up suddenly makes terrible sense. A pitiful soul wearing the skin of a foul-tempered original, forced to fake an identity just to keep existing. He asks for a new name, something that might finally feel like his own. Amelia decides she will simply keep calling him Amelia. The name means ash tree in some places, a quiet rebirth symbol that fits a little too well. The black cat immediately panics about its own identity, and the whole naming ceremony turns into pure chaos. Species confusion explodes next. Someone insists the cat is actually a lion, a cow wanders in mooing, and Melia wonders out loud whether she should just find the poor thing some feed. Noble houses are not exactly stocked for livestock, so improvisation becomes the only option. They settle on strange green blossom leaves. Melia offers them. The red-haired girl takes a bite, and pure delight lights up her face. Even the black-haired man tries one and freezes, because something about these leaves should never taste this good to his kind. Suspicion prickles. If the blossoms are wrong, the whole garden might be wrong. The scene cuts away to Hannah arriving home, greeted warmly by her sister, the quiet domestic calm feeling almost too fragile after everything we just learned. Hannah heads off to clean the attic while her sister stays behind with the children. Alone, the sister's thoughts turn dark. Hannah has been sick her entire life, held together only by holy water, and any change in her feels like a warning the household cannot afford to ignore. The truth about the scar surfaces. Anyone who has passed on and returned reacts violently to holy water, and Hannah's neck still carries the mark from the last time. If she is ever hurt badly enough to need that water again, the secret will finally tear itself open. Hannah refuses to let that future happen. She catches her sister and swears she could never harm her, clinging tight while the weight of the unfinished truth presses down on both of them. Some curses refuse to stay buried. Elsewhere, Melia finally sits down with Gabriel. He has been waiting to ask her something important, and the air between them goes razor-sharp with possibility. Whatever comes next is going to rewrite more than just one cursed role. Gabriel looks her straight in the eye and drops the question that stops the entire chapter cold. Would she consider becoming his partner? Melia's world tilts, the ghost story holds its breath, and we are left wondering just how far off script this transmigration is about to fly. Chapter 29 opens on a charged conversation that could rewrite Evangeline's entire cursed role. The commander is laying out a path that skips the usual marriage trap and lands straight on partnership instead. Evangeline, ever the self-aware player who knows she pulled the trash card, weighs every word like it might be booby-trapped. She confirms she is fully aware this is no final answer, yet she still says yes. No threats forced her hand. Something about the heretic among them has already shifted the board, and Evangeline is choosing to stand on it anyway. Cut to the mansion. The moment Evangeline returns, voices are already being summoned toward the grand temple nested in the garden. The air itself feels wrong, thick with something that should not be awake. Commander Gabriel steps into the gloom and finds Bishop Maria waiting. She greets him like an old nightmare. Behind her, something that used to be Priest Vernon is still moving. The body was poked through with holy metal, yet it keeps lurching forward like a broken puppet. Bishop Maria forces Gabriel to look. This, she says, is the fate waiting for anyone who strays from the path. Vernon's form twists in a grotesque jester's dance, red Kool-Aid streaking the floor. He once performed a forbidden ritual, summoned a child, and became obsessed with little ones. The ghost story is no longer hiding in the margins. Under the goddess's light, the sun alone is supposed to represent true divinity, yet other forces stand in opposition, stars and forgotten goddesses whispering their own claims. Even the former goddess's voice still echoes here. Gabriel's tone stays firm, but the color is draining from the room. The meeting was requested by one person in particular. When the bishop asks if he would ever harm her, his answer is immediate: not at all. A radiant silhouette burns against the dark as Gabriel's thoughts spiral. No one is free from suspicion in this place. If he wants to stop painting every sorcerer as the enemy, he has to move first. He almost decides to keep Evangeline out of it for her own safety. Human nature, old promises, and the way spirits seem to flee from her all collide in his head. Then a pink-haired subordinate drops the most dangerous theory of all. The only explanation for a holy commander chasing a dangerous suspect to the ends of the earth without a shred of doubt? He must be in love. Hearts explode across the panel as the subordinate crows it like gospel. Evangeline processes the absurd romance fantasy logic with perfect genre-savvy calm. Since she is already cast as the villainess, being seen with the respected Holy Knight Gabriel will actually reduce suspicion. She agrees on the spot. She will be his partner. Gabriel thanks her, but the moment is already cracking. A sudden shatter rips through the vision, red energy flaring as if the ghost story itself just noticed the plot going off script. Evangeline can only sigh that this is already far more complicated than she signed up for. Meanwhile, Bishop Maria watches Priest Vernon with new eyes. The man who once radiated pure majesty now treats her like a parent and speaks openly about romance. She has never seen him act so freely. He is clearly taken with that silver-haired lady. Maria changes her mind on the spot. When asked what impression Evangeline left, she hesitates, then admits the girl reminded her of something unfinished. Outside, pale light gathers around Evangeline like the mansion itself is answering. Power coils and cracks through the air as Evangeline stands at the center of the surge. The bishop's final words hang like a promise. She will see to this matter personally. Whatever the ghost story is cooking next, Evangeline just became the main ingredient. 2 weeks out from her debut, and Evangeline Johnson already knows the universe is laughing at her. The season's biggest ball is peaking around the Crown Prince's birthday, which means every noble house is polishing their image while she is stuck holding the trash card roll that is scripted to implode. A glittering crown, a formal invitation, and one very clear message: show up looking like a proper lady or the entire court will eat her alive. Tutors are supposed to fix that. Instead, the letters start piling up with polite refusals. One by one, they bail. Embroidery tutor, dance tutor, every single instructor who sets foot in the manor finds a sudden, urgent reason to be somewhere else. Evangeline watches the parade of exits and deadpans that her perfectly comfortable home must be the problem. The butler even had to bribe the last few just to keep them until the end of the week. Only the etiquette tutor guts it out, and even she trembles every time Evangeline walks into the room. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Dance practice is non-negotiable if she wants to survive the ball. Theory alone will not cut it, so when a blue spectral figure offers a hand, she takes it. They whirl across the floor in a swirl of cold light while she mutters that at least someone is willing to partner her. Lesson over. A knock at the door. Daryl steps in with news that stops her cold. The Marchioness Rotten has agreed to stand as her guardian for the debut. After every tutor fled, someone is still willing to attach their name to hers. Evangeline processes the miracle with pure suspicion. The Marchioness has a son the same age, is ridiculously well connected, and apparently heard about her situation and decided to help. Daryl insists she should meet her at once. The carriage ride ends at a mansion that looks grand until you notice the religious symbols carved into every surface. Evangeline clocks the creepy density of holy icons immediately. This place is less noble estate and more fortress against something that goes bump in the night. The Marchioness greets them in a deep red gown, all warm smiles and perfect manners. Evangeline introduces herself, thanks her for taking on such a troublesome request, and gets a gentle "don't mention it" in return. The woman's eyes, however, linger a little too long. They settle in to talk guardianship details when a harsh cough echoes from the hallway. A frail young man in night clothes stumbles into view. The Marchioness's son has dragged himself out of bed the moment he heard there was a guest. Mother and son argue in frantic whispers. He insists he could not stay lying down while company was present. Evangeline takes one look at how pale and unsteady he is and realizes this illness is far worse than polite society gossip ever admitted. The butler is ordered to escort the young master back to his rooms for another checkup. Once the door clicks shut, Evangeline turns to the Marchioness with a question that cuts straight through the polite tea party atmosphere. She wants the truth about what is really happening in this house. The Marchioness drops the gracious act. She did not offer help out of pure goodwill. She has a condition, and she needs to know if the impossible is actually possible. The young master returns, drops to his knees, and begs Evangeline to tell him how she managed to keep existing when everything should have ended for her. Evangeline freezes. She has no medical miracles, no saintly powers, and the honest answer is brutal. There is no way. The young master's face crumples. He accuses her of hiding something, offers anything she wants, voice cracking as he refuses to accept that his path is already locked. Tears hit the floor. Evangeline looks at the desperate family surrounded by sun god icons and finally gives them the rumor that has followed her since she woke up in this body. She made a pact with a demon. The room goes silent except for the weight of every holy symbol watching them. In the aftermath, she reads the house correctly. This is a family of devout believers whose faith is cracking because holy water and temple rites have already failed. When light cannot burn the shadow away, people start whispering the word curse. Evangeline leaves them with a promise that she will find another road, even if the temple has already written the boy off. Sunset paints the gates as she steps out of the mansion. Behind her, the heavy doors swing shut with a finality that feels less like goodbye and more like a seal. Whatever curse lives in that house just got a front row seat to Evangeline Johnson, and the ghost story is nowhere near finished with either of them. The mansion is pure chaos this chapter, servants buzzing everywhere, and our heroine freezes as it hits her all over again. Gabriel is the male lead. In a romance novel, that means endless resources, endless pull, and a whole lot of plot armor she does not have. He still looks shaken from the confessional incident, but she has to admit the man is useful. All that decadent spending is going straight into her debut wardrobe, and right now she will take every advantage she can get. Enter Artemisia Contessina, Michelle's older sister and the designer who now treats Evangeline like living inspiration. She gushes that the lady looks stunning and casually drops that people claim meeting Evangeline steals your soul. Classic muse-type designer energy, Artemisia swears she will craft the most exquisite gown for the debut ball with Sir Gabriel and begs Evangeline to keep her around. Watching the fitting, Gabriel quietly notes that Lady Johansson almost looks human. Or maybe he is the one being influenced. Sample dresses come out, the plan is set, and Gabriel offers to help her change. The second he hears the room at the end of the hall, he flinches hard. Empty corridor. Red eyes flash. He startles so badly, Evangeline has to call his name twice. She clocks the whole eyes turning red trope and decides to give the poor man a moment while she tries on the dress. Alone, Gabriel's thoughts spiral. Something inside him has changed. What he once felt toward Lady Johansson was just confusion and fear of what she might do once she learned Evangeline's true identity. He used to keep her satisfied just to stay safe. Then a tidal wave of feeling hit him the moment he felt her heartbeat. He realized Evangeline was truly human, and the knowledge that he could not free her left him strangely disappointed. If she had been some omnipotent being, she might have performed miracles. Instead, he saw a person, and that naive disappointment cracked something open. He has been clinging to her hand like a lifeline without even understanding why. Artemisia bursts back in, waving the finished look and demands proper praise. Gabriel fumbles through fairy, angel, light itself, brightest star, anything to describe Evangeline Johansson. The designer is thrilled. He looks mildly traumatized by his own poetry. With the gown sorted, dance practice is next. All his other instructors ran away, so it is just the two of them. He offers his hand under the chandeliers and says one song will not be enough. They twirl through the empty hall while he admits he is terrible at small talk. Artemisia's earlier favoritism comes up. Even wealth could not buy her loyalty, yet Evangeline became her favorite overnight. That is simply the effect she has on people. And then the atmosphere fractures. Blue light swirls around them as Gabriel's inner world starts to collapse. Every belief, every ideal, every piece of philosophy he built with certainty now feels meaningless. She is the one who shattered it all, and somehow she is rebuilding everything in her own image. The confession almost slips out. He catches himself, but the damage is done. A ghostly presence presses close, voice soft and dangerous. So you mean you sincerely like me, even without knowing who I really am? The real Evangeline Johansson's face flickers into something far older and far less human. The chapter leaves us staring into those red eyes and that impossible smile. Gabriel's carefully rebuilt heart is wide open, and something wearing Evangeline's face just noticed. Next time the ghost story stops playing nice. Chapter 32 opens like a full-blown haunting. A white-haired figure stares out with razor-sharp anger, cold and empty, while somewhere a couple spins across a ballroom floor that already feels cursed. Our heroine has pulled the trash card again, and the ghost story underneath the romance is wide awake. Heavy thuds echo through a red Kool-Aid red corridor. Something is coming down hard again and again, and a dark-haired man can only brace himself as the mansion itself seems to turn against him. The atmosphere is pure dread, the kind that tells you the original story never planned a happy ending for anyone here. The white-haired presence looms over a fallen figure while a heart appears with no reflection in any mirror. This was never just a person. It was a hollow doll of flesh, something that wanted the entire holding to belong to nothing but an empty shell. Our heroine's genre-savvy brain is screaming that this is the real plot. A blue ghostly light flares as the white-haired figure speaks of beauty swallowing the world. Hands reach, energy crackles, and the mansion feels like it is about to rewrite its own rules. Then the vision snaps, and we are dropped straight into the glittering ballroom where the living still pretend everything is fine. Our heroine stands in the grand hall with Gabriel, the very man the original story wants to tangle her fate with. She is already tired of the dance, already calculating how to step off the scripted path. One wrong move and the ghost story catches up for real. Gabriel looks at her with something heavier than simple interest. She tells him she would rather leave early, and he answers that he rather likes her. The words land like a stone. For a girl who knows she is supposed to be the disposable side character, that quiet confession is the last thing she wanted to hear. They part with a polite goodbye. Gabriel watches her go while she walks into the night air, already unraveling inside. She knew he liked her. That was never the mystery. The problem is how sick the realization makes her feel. Outside, under the lanterns, she replays every word. When Gabriel spoke, he did not sound like a man in love. He looked like someone crushed under unbearable guilt. That was not a sweet confession. It was self-loathing dressed up as romance, and it hits her harder than any empty flattery ever could. She admits the truth to herself. If he had just smiled and whispered shallow romantic nonsense, she could have brushed it off as the male lead doing his job. But this heavy, broken honesty is far too much for her to carry. The emotions she once only read about in novels suddenly feel real, and her steps turn unbearably heavy. She slumps under the weight of it all. The ruined, tragic novel she thought she could game is no longer a game. Nothing will change, she tells herself. There is no reason left for her to keep dancing along with the original plot. The night swallows her as she walks away from the lights. Alone in the dark garden, she reaches the quiet pavilion and finally lets the decision settle. She will not dance for anyone else's story. But the mansion is never truly empty, and something with glowing eyes has been watching the entire time. A flash cuts the night. A black cat with piercing eyes appears, and a green glowing figure materializes beside a red-haired girl who looks far too knowing. Our heroine's face has gone pale, and the newcomers can read every flicker of jealousy and fear just by looking at her. The red-haired girl wastes no time. She calls out the jealousy over Gabriel's dance and presses harder, asking whether our heroine is truly ready to face what lives inside her own heart. The conversation turns sharp and intimate, peeling back layers the original novel never bothered to explain. Soft green light surrounds them as the red-haired girl speaks of precious things locked away and strange dreams that create tears. She warns that if Gabriel cannot overcome his own trial, everything falls apart. Then she drops the real challenge. He must learn to love even the darkness if he ever wants to be worthy of being loved back. A white cat-like spirit watches with calm, glowing eyes while Gabriel himself stands in the shadows, expression unreadable. The night has stopped being a simple ballroom escape. Every secret, every haunting, and every twisted feeling is now on the table. Our heroine came here thinking she could dodge her doomed role with genre-savvy tricks. Instead, the ghost story just handed her a new set of rules, a jealous heart and a man who might have to embrace the darkness itself. Next chapter, something is going to break, and it will not be quiet. Chapter 33 opens on pure nightmare fuel. In the dark, a figure is strung up while a desperate prayer echoes about purifying similar beings where the sun god's light never reaches, and a crowd recoils from an outcast they refuse to approach. Once that man walks away from the castle, the past snaps shut. We slam into a heavy thump and a blue-eyed boy who looks like he has already seen too much, whispering that someone simply cannot do this. Chaos erupts. Warriors clash with twisted creatures while someone shouts about holy water used in an alley by an abandoned house, calling the user an angel instead of a fraud. A priest freezes mid-scene, demanding to know what is happening here. The boy is already moving. He hauls someone through the dark as thumps hammer the panels, the narration noting the master nearly met lights out alone that night. Then a perfectly formed white spirit drifts into view. The spirit refuses to abandon her. It reaches out with a soft offer of help, and a burst of white force erupts as the boy with glowing blue eyes accepts. Nearby, a man in a pale coat glances back and mutters one word: creep. Cut to the present. The commander sits buried in reports while a pink-haired officer notes how exhausted he looks. The commander brushes it off as fine, then they pick up right where they left off, the summoning ritual and the unexpected visitor who never seems to leave well enough alone. A green-haired officer joins the worry circle. Everything about that morning already feels off, and worse, someone named Johnny is the only person who walked away clean after the painting burned. The room flashes back to roaring fire and a white-haired figure standing in the middle of it. Talk turns to Lady Johansson. The officers trade uneasy notes about how she has been acting, while outside, a quieter memory surfaces. A man who once took in a child that needed saving most of all, yet still could not rewrite the rotten ending waiting for them. Sir Gabriel corners Michael with the question that matters. What exactly did he see the first time he met Lady Johansson? Michael answers without flinching. Real eyes, not the painted patterns, actual eyes staring back. The horror hits full force. A massive red eye blooms across the frame, rimmed in something that looks a lot like red Kool-Aid, while Gabriel processes the confession. Michael admits that after witnessing that, continuing to watch over her should have been impossible. Yet Michael's loyalty never cracked. None of the terror mattered, because Lady Johansson saved him. That single truth is all the reason he needs. Even Sir Gabriel, listening in the shadows, cannot shake the weight of that devotion. Gabriel's own thoughts spiral. He remembers how everything changed after the catastrophe, how reality itself refuses to bend, and he asks the quiet question hanging over him. Does he still have a chance? He decides he cannot give up on her, not yet. A strange noise drifts up from the basement. Footsteps and a sharp click echo through the hall, while the pink-haired officer wonders if someone has finally lost their mind. Orders fly, the agency is waiting, and Gabriel is told to hold position for the moment. Gabriel ignores the caution. He takes the stairs himself, the door creaking open on a perfectly arranged tea setting. A veiled woman welcomes Sir Gabriel with practiced grace and a cup of something meant to soothe nerves after a long night. The conversation turns razor sharp. She notes this is the first time they have spoken properly, then casually mentions he failed to secure any confession from Lady Johansson. Gabriel's expression hardens as she digs into the fallout from his meeting with Madame Ashtal and the Archbishop's cold reception. Inside Gabriel's head, the panic spikes. He wonders just how much this woman knows, especially about the secret deal involving radiant cotton laced with holy water behind the temple's back. Across the table, she simply sips her tea and remarks that Johansson has been making her nervous lately. Then she drops the real bomb. With a serene smile, she suggests that since Lady Johansson has no memories and no one left to shield her, perhaps she herself should become the girl's guardian. Dark motes swirl as the offer hangs in the air, and suddenly the tea party feels a lot less polite. Chapter 34 drops us right into our heroine's latest headache. She is still stuck in the body of the story's designated trash side character, and the more she reads the script, the clearer it becomes that this cozy-looking novel is secretly a full-blown ghost story. One look at the plot and she is already gulping because the character everyone is supposed to love is about to drag her straight into the nightmare. The details hit hard. Someone important passed on in an accident. The doctor said it was over, and now a glowing figure stands at the center of the mystery like a warning flare. Our heroine tries to play it cool, but even she cannot hide the shock when the truth starts leaking out. Cue the world's most inappropriate comic relief. Her white-haired companion is bouncing around like this is the end of a variety show episode, complete with spit takes and breakfast space nonsense. The heroine can only apologize and try to steer the conversation back to the actual haunting before the mood completely derails. She decides the only person who might have answers is her mother. The moment the word leaves her mouth, the air itself seems to light up, and her companion's face twists into pure disbelief. Suddenly, the heroine is claiming dukedom-level authority just to keep the conversation from collapsing. They end up sitting together while the heroine lays out the brutal logic of her situation. If she really is that person, the original story wants her gone the second she becomes inconvenient. Her companion laughs it off with a warm hug and a reminder not to forget the fundamentals, but the plea for help is already hanging in the air. The mood snaps when a sudden kick sends stars flying. The heroine is done playing nice. She looks straight up at the sky and makes a quiet bet with whatever force is listening. The unchangeable things in this story are going to change, or she is walking away from the whole cursed script. She sets her boundaries with a smile that does not reach her eyes. Somewhere out there, a child who was never supposed to see the light of day is still waiting, and the heroine knows the original plot wants that child erased. The moment she voices it, the atmosphere turns razor sharp. A door slams open and the real plot arrives. A desperate young man is begging Lady Johansson for help, tears already on his face. He knows the request is dangerous, but whatever is happening inside that house has left him with nowhere else to turn. Lady Johansson freezes. The name hits her like a physical blow. She actually came. For a second, the elegant, white-haired woman looks like she has seen a ghost of her own, and the chapter's temperature drops several degrees. Cut to the horror. The young man wakes to a thump in the dark and finds his mother with no pulse. Even as she is slipping away, she is still trying to protect the Marquisate and the baby, forcing promises out of him with the last of her strength. His resolve hardens into something ugly. He will not let the family collapse because of a cursed child. The words, "Please be gone soon," leave his mouth like a curse of their own, and the room fills with the kind of silence that means something on the other side just heard him. The ghost answers. A red eye opens in the dark. A green hand reaches through the sheets, and the mother's spirit rises in full fury. She demands to know how he could raise the cursed child for 10 years only to throw everything away, and the accusation lands like a physical blow. Back in the present, a torch cuts through the hallway. Someone needs to meet Lady Johansson immediately. The household is already fraying. The baby is missing, the nanny is gone, and the young lord's mother is barely holding herself together while she pretends everything is fine. The young lord himself appears, calm on the surface and completely unapproachable underneath. He orders everyone out of the room and makes it clear that no one, not even family, is getting close again. Whatever is wearing his face is done pretending to be the boy they raised. Lady Johansson finally understands. The young lord of the Marquisate is possessed, and the thing inside him is begging her to save his sister even while it refuses every normal method. She stares at the impossible situation and admits she cannot do this the ordinary way. Then the idea hits: transmigration. If the original soul is already gone, maybe someone else can step into the empty role and rewrite the ending from the inside. Lady Johansson's eyes light up with the first real plan she has had all chapter. She gives the order without hesitation. Go bring Melissa, the girl who only recently joined this household. Our heroine has no idea she has just been summoned as the final piece of a ghost story that is already rewriting itself around her, and the next chapter is going to put her right in the center of the curse. Storm clouds choke the sky as the carriage rolls up to the estate, and our returning figure steps out under an umbrella like the whole place has been holding its breath. Home Sweet Home lands with zero warmth. Something in this mansion is already awake, and the rain is the least of anyone's problems. He notes the company reported him away, yet no one bothers to greet him. The father who resents the very existence tied to a lost mother is still the same cold wall. Even the servants keep their distance, and the green gem at his collar catches the light like a warning. Inside, Evangeline Johansson stands ready in the grand hall, white hair catching the chandelier glow. She offers the classic welcome, room prepared, nanny waiting. But our genre-savvy heroine is already side-eyeing the script, because creating scenes that never existed in the novel is a fast way to wake the ghost story. She weighs the rotten luck of her role while the estate's polished floors stretch endlessly. Doctors claim the young master's condition improved, yet under normal circumstances, he barely lasted. Evangeline knows the original plot has teeth, and every polite smile is just another trap waiting to spring. Talk turns to bringing Ryder back, and the air goes heavy. Even if the uncle is present, no one can simply request it. Evangeline makes one thing clear first: she cannot offer a perfect solution, and whoever wants this miracle had better be prepared for the cost. The fear underneath surfaces hard. If Ryder returns, will every scrap of affection vanish until he becomes a hollow doll just like the others? Nevertheless, the alternative of those endless days calling into silence with no answer ever coming feels worse. Better the risk than the empty quiet. Carriage wheels cut through the rain again as they reach the London estate. Servants rush the door with pale faces. Something has already gone wrong inside, and the urgent call for Madam to come to young Master Ryder's room immediately sets every nerve on edge. The question hits like a slap. Is it true the young master is no more? Today of all days. Panic surges through the halls as they race upstairs, only for a heavy thunk to freeze everyone in place. An axe is already in play, and red Kool-Aid stains the moment. Duke Totten stands there far too calm, sister-in-law greeting dripping with false surprise. He claims he only came to visit his nephew, weapon still raised. Knights pour in, swords out, demanding he put it down, but the Duke smirks through the official warning like he owns the board. He plays the concerned uncle card hard, insisting he just wanted to see the boys after so long. Yet the refusal to let him enter the room earlier now looks like the smartest move anyone made. Someone powerful is clearly backing this man, and the consequences he ignores feel like a loaded trap. A sudden bang rocks the bedroom. Inside, Ryder lies far too still, sleeping so deeply he looks almost gone. Then his hand clenches over his chest. The Duke's story about a tragic accident and poor Ryder suffering a mishap while caring for him starts to smell like pure cover-up. The truth demands confirmation, but the real conversation happens in the dark. A mother begs to bring her child back, voice cracking with pleas after pleas. The offer on the table is no gentle miracle. What returns might only be something else wearing his face. The choice lands solely on her: accept the ready solution and take the true daughter, or stay content living as though he was never gone, even if only in appearance. White smoke coils and the possession talk turns personal. This was never some Matthew. This is her precious son, and she will even make use of what remains to fulfill the final wish. She asks forgiveness for this selfish mother's love and gets a quiet "all right" in return. Dark figures listen from the shadows. Then the air cracks with power, red energy flaring as something answers the call. Hands reach, sparkles scatter, and the impossible starts to move. Shouts explode through the estate. Everyone look, the young master moved. Servants and knights rush the room in pure shock. Master, why is he awake? Blue eyes snap open on a face that should not be stirring, and the entire carefully scripted ghost story just jumped the rails. This is impossible hangs in the air as the heroine's chibi panic flares for half a second. Whatever deal just closed in the dark has rewritten more than one fate. Next chapter, the thing wearing that face is going to start talking, and no one in this mansion is ready for what comes out of its mouth.